This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 533 for the week of Monday, August 20th, 2018. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Alex.
Welcome back, Alex. How was Greece?
It was great. Time basically stood still there. I couldn't tell what time of the day it was, ever. And I went to the beach every single day and ate amazing food.
God, fuck you. Did you get to see any more of the Adventures of Drake?
Oh, no, man. They stopped airing that like a decade ago.
Oh,
Damn.
No Drake, or otherwise known as One Piece in the United States. But yeah,
No,
Alex,
but
welcome back.
I did talk to my cousin a lot about One Piece because he's a fan.
Awesome.
And I had him read your One Piece connection.
Oh, no.
That's right.
He said he's a fan of it, but he doesn't subscribe to it.
Oh.
So.
Okay, so we have lots of special guests to go through today. First, our usual very special guest, translator for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump. We have Stephen Paul with us today. How's it going, Stephen?
Hey, good. I noticed that little emphasis that you put on One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump.
I wonder why I would do that, unless we had a very special guest, translator of My Hero Academia in Weekly Shonen Jump. We have Caleb with us. How's it going, Caleb?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Good to be
Yeah,
here.
of course. It's great to have you here. Welcome to the One Piece side of things here. I don't know how different it is from My Hero Academia, but yeah, welcome on.
Thank you.
And finally, our editor-in-chief, we have Kelly with us. How's it going, Kelly?
Good. I'm actually sleeping normal hours again, so I think my jet lag is finally done.
Yeah, you're back from, you were in Japan for a little while this time.
Uh-huh. I was there for a couple weeks, and it was a lot of fun.
Cool. Nothing. I guess we're going to go more in depth the next time the manga's on break.
Yes.
Because you did a lot there.
Yes.
That's worth talking about. So we'll do that in a few weeks or whenever Oda needs a little bit of a breather. But today, we're going to go through manga chapter 914, which is entitled, I have the title here. What are you guys talking about? Okobore Town? Is that pronounced correctly, Stephen?
I would say Okobore Town.
Sure. I'll get it eventually. We also have an anime recap. Ed, do you have the number or title of that anime episode for us?
No, but it's the one with the Kuda burst.
That is so specific. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's got a great expanded flashback with Carrot and Pedro.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Ed, that's my favorite episode of Friends.
I was just going to say that.
I might just do that from now on.
We got that Friends reference in early. That's always good.
And, our podcast, we're chock full of that.
Yeah, we're really can't get away from that. We're also going to talk with Caleb a little bit about his history with One Piece and translation and My Hero Academia and a lot more. And, of course, we have Piece Together, and we'll round off with trivia at the end, as per usual. And before we start off, and we also have news that's going to come up in a couple minutes as well. Before we get into all of that, I want to remind people that the read-through is back. And I'm sorry for, life getting in the way of that a little bit. That's still every Friday and or early Saturday. And we are in the middle of Water 7. Enies Lobby will be this week, so look forward to that. And yeah, we'll go through more about what's coming with that at the end of the show. Also, please subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. There is so much good stuff there. Ed, you just listened to the entire Outtakes episode. That took me a really long time to edit. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's on that? Because this is like over an hour, almost an hour, 20 minutes, this one. There's a lot of stuff.
Oh, we talk about anime that we're watching. Steven talks about going to Disneyland. And we just fawn all over Maddie's art, because this is the first time that's discussion of the art has been on the Patreon episode, and it's some really good stuff.
And speaking of, so that's for $10 and up. If you're $5 and up, though, you get to see all the alternate titles and her art. So please check that out for the alternate art for the episodes. And for those $3 and up, you get access to our entire library. So that includes all 533 plus episodes, plus specials and After Dark and all those stupid things we used to do early on in the show. So definitely worth checking out. We'll have a lot of really cool announcements for the podcast, hopefully coming in the next few weeks, maybe months. So keep an ear to the ground. But for now, let's get into the show. Are you guys ready?
Yes, I.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's time for the news, and let's begin with some good news here. The volume 90 cover is out, and do you guys want to talk about quick thoughts on that? Alex, I'm going to start with you.
Wait, the what?
The volume 90 cover, or did you not see
God. No, I've seen it. Yeah, it's great. I like it a lot. It's pretty simple, but it has pretty much everybody that we want on there, except for Dalton. I know if Steve was here, he would chime in about that.
He should be there over Walpole.
Oh, fuck that. Walpole's...
Yeah,
Walpole's great.
I think they're both should be on there. I don't see why not. Maybe
Yeah.
Rebecca. Maybe instead of Rebecca.
No,
Vivi and
Rebecca-
Carew,
Get Leo out
Vivi
of
and
there.
Carew need separate panels.
Now, here's the thing. Yeah. Leo should have been over there with
Yeah.
Rebecca and
Yeah.
There you go.
and
Man, sure.
and Moncherry. Yeah.
Well, I get why
Yeah.
he's separate. He's one of the Grand Fleet. You know, give him his
Sure.
own, yeah.
Sure. Or how come Psy's not on? Is Psy on there? I don't have it in front of me.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Leo. Come on, guys. We gotta get together. But yeah, the throne in the background is awesome. You can see all the weapons, and it makes me like wonder if because these are never really included in the color walks or anything like that. But like if we ever see any drawings that are underlaid or are underneath other drawings that are overlaid on top of them, because I would just like to see a full color version of that. Of the throne with all the
Yeah,
all the-
I'm pessimistic about that, but I agree with the sentiment.
Mhm.
yeah I really like it. It's simple, and it pretty much is what that volume is going to be.
We have another artist here. Maddie is here as well. Do you have any thoughts on the volume 90 cover?
I don't know. I just thought the throne in the background was really cool. It took me a bit to notice it, because I was like, okay, yeah, here's all the cool characters, and then I was just like, oh, there it is looming in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Oh, so I do have it in front of me now. And this is something that did really bug me, is Karu's teeth.
Yeah, I agree.
he and Garp have the same expression right now.
Well, that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
not surprising. Did Karu always have teeth? I can't even
Yeah.
recall.
He's had teeth, but I thought that they were always there like for comedic purposes, not like he has teeth in canon. Like, yes, all of the ducks do have teeth. Like one of them, like the one that I don't know. I think like the one that has like the sunglasses and the floppy hat has like huge like toothy grin.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that was just like I thought that was like a comedic thing, not like, oh yeah, let's put Kara on the cover and have his mouth open so you can see his bottom row of pearly whites.
Guys,
Like-
how many covers has Karu been on now? There's a
Like,
lot.
A lot. He's been
yeah.
on a lot of covers.
Yeah.
And I don't ever think we've seen him with teeth. And the thing that's
No.
like really freaking me out is that it's making Karu scarier, because like geese are scary in real life.
Yeah.
They have like rows of shark teeth.
Yeah. Well, this is his like mean sports mascot version, right? Like when they try to make the sports mascot sound a lot tougher.
That's true.
His hat's blending into Vivi's hair, so it looks like he has really long
Oh,
hair
yeah.
too. So that's all I can see. I'm like, when did he get all this hair?
Kelly.
Other than the long hair on Karu that isn't there, but that's all I can see in the big teeth. I do like the way it looks. I think the throne in the background is probably the best, but unfortunately I can't unsee Karu with long blue hair now, so that's sort of taking a little bit away for me.
Steven.
I hate to be. I feel like I'm always the contrarian on these covers, but I feel like I like this one more in concept than I do in execution. And maybe part of it, like I don't know, maybe it will look better when I actually see it printed. But at least the image that they've put up, like the color scheme, like the background color, I really hate. I don't like this shade of like I don't know what this is, puce. Like it's weird.
I'm colorblind, so I have no opinion on that.
It's just like this very dirty, like grayish pink shade or burgundy or something like that.
I thought it was burgundy.
Yeah, but it's very like it's leached. It's not very strong in color. It's like I don't know. It just looks kind of flat and we've had a lot of these like here's a slice where a bunch of different slices of each of these characters that are in this volume. I mean, conceptually, I love the idea of putting Luffy's poster image on it rather than like Luffy himself. Like it's this kind of like conceptual layer, and then having all the characters from the Reverie is cool. I don't know. I just did the way it looks just doesn't pop for me. It looks like a Wheel of Fortune or something like that.
Ed, do you have thoughts?
I don't know. It's you guys are pretty much expressed it all.
Yeah, no, I actually,
although as Maddie said, I do like the throne. I didn't notice that the first time I saw it either. So
yeah, me neither. I didn't notice the lion looking. Did we talk about that in the manga? Like just the pedals, what do you call that? The armrests having the lion look. I mean, it's cool. I don't think there's any particular meaning to that. Who knows though? Yeah, no, I like this one. It reminds me a lot of Volume 45 in its execution. I don't mind the Wheel of Fortune look. It's I think it's like one of the first times I looked back since the Davy back fights, since we've had an basically unobstructed rectangle. It's in all of the volumes technically, this rectangle. Going back as a design feature for One Piece covers, but it's the first time since the Davy back fights since it's been basically unobstructed, like nothing going through it. So that was pretty interesting, I thought. So yeah, I'm a fan, and of course the empty throne is, or is it empty?
Whoa.
Is always something I enjoy.
Oh God.
What?
Is he gonna have Panda Man sitting on it on the underflap?
Oh my God, that'd be the greatest.
we'll
I'm kind of sad that I said that now because I'm gonna be so disappointed if that isn't what he's doing.
Oh man, the one thing that really sucks about the English volumes is that they don't have the dust jackets and the fun stuff underneath.
Yeah, especially recent. When did the Panda Man adventures like on the front covers start?
God, like during Water 7.
No. The front, like him being hidden. That's only been like the last 10 or so.
Yeah, he used to do it every now and then, but he's been doing it consistently for like the last like 25 volumes, maybe something like that.
Okay, let's move on to sad news. Let me actually use my sad voice here. Unsho Ishizuka, the Japanese voice actor for Kizaru, amongst many others, unfortunately passed away at the age of 67 on August 13th. If you guys want to express your condolences, of course, we here at the One Piece Podcast express our condolences. It's a really huge hit for the voice acting and seiyuu community. Ed, do you want to?
I mean, he's been in a lot of things. He was also. I was actually just watching the Big O. I bought those Blu-rays, and he was the head of Paradigm in that. He was
Alex Rosewater.
Yeah. Also Joseph Joestar. So many other things as well. He was in Naruto. He was Zabuza, and he even took over. Yeah,
Jet Black from
right,
Bebop.
and he took over the role of Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
after Daisuke Gori unfortunately died 5-6 years ago.
That was more than 5-6 years ago, I think. But yeah,
was that? Oh wow.
Yeah. It was 2010, I thought.
Yeah,
like that was a while. That was like that was a huge hit, and he also took over Heihachi from Tekken's voice from Gori as well. So he took over 2 fucking Daisuke Gori roles, which is insane. Like that's like a feat to
Yeah.
do that and then make those voices your own. So I don't know.
I just had to say he was also the narrator of one of my favorite absurdist anime of all time, Cromartie High School. He was the narrator on that.
Oh wow.
That series has like prime voice acting in it.
It really does.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go look at those DVDs again.
Yeah, and also, of course, did you guys mention Joseph Joestar?
And Van Hohenheim from Brotherhood.
And
Hohenheim
Dojima from Persona 4.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I know Steve posted a tweet with like an image of like almost everything he's played, and he's what a
Got a
very
gajillion
great career.
retweets.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, Joseph Joestar is my favorite JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character, so that's a real hit, and I mean, it's really because of him, 100%, and I think a lot of people who are fans of that series would agree. And Kizaru is such a unique
That sucks.
voice role, and I can't imagine that character without that voice.
I just want to point out he's also been working with Mayumi Tanaka for almost 35 years.
Yeah.
He was the narrator on her first starring role in Giant Gorg. He was the
Giant
narrator
Gorg.
of that as well.
Yeah,
Shout out to Joey who fucking loves Giant Gorg.
I watched a bunch of episodes of that. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Why don't we end with some? Well, actually, first let's do some video game news. And you have some of that, Kelly.
Yep. So more characters are being added to the roster for the upcoming Jump Force game, which, if you're not familiar, it's the Shonen Jump 50th anniversary game that's going to pit different characters from different universes against each other. But both Sanji and Blackbeard have been announced as playable characters.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I probably could have. Yeah, Blackbeard. I had a feeling just because his ship is crashed into New York Times Square.
Yep.
In that level. So.
Yeah. Did you have anything else, Kelly?
The other characters are from Hunter x Hunter. So Hisoka and Gon are also have been announced. So I think we're probably going to see them sort of dripping in new characters as they go.
Cool. And last but certainly not least, we have Greg news, which we really should have a theme song for at this point because it's been happening so much. So Alex, Alex, do you want to talk about what Greg did? I guess this was a few weeks ago. It was announced on a blog.
Yeah. Yes. So Greg, so every year Oda has a takoyaki party at his house. A lot of people who are involved with One Piece are invited. Most notably, the cast of the anime, people who have worked on theme songs, editors at all. And Greg was invited this year, and he got to go to Oda's fucking house and party with a lot of neat people, including Maki Otsuki, the artist who did the first two One Piece ending themes, Memories and Run Run Run. He made takoyaki with her, which is pretty baller. Amongst others who were there,
Just say we know this because she posted the pictures on her blog.
Yes, well, no, not Maki Otsuki.
I thought it was
someone else.
Someone else did, yes. I believe an actress.
Marie Tatsumi?
Yeah.
If I'm reading that right, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
And there was a picture of Greg preparing the takoyaki, I think, like as an expert preparer. So
yeah.
We have to make sure he makes us some next time we see him.
Yeah, Greg, way to go, buddy.
Yeah.
Insanely jealous. You likely got to use Oda's cool shark toilet. So no, unless the shark toilet's in his office.
Crap, we gotta ask him about the shark toilet. If he got to poop in the shark toilet.
No, I think that's at his Shueisha office. If my memory serves me correct.
Well, maybe he has more than one shark toilet. Didn't he say
he was
in
shark toilet?
The thing is, in one of his SBSs, I think he said he was afraid of sharks, which makes it very curious that he has a shark toilet.
It's very spiteful of him to feed them his poop then.
You know what?
Man,
I think you hit it
So
on
get
the
back.
you hit it on the shark nose right there.
if somebody came up to me after going to a shark toilet, I'd be like, "Let me see your hands. You got city boy hands. Go wash your hands."
I love when I get references. Okay, so I think that'll do it. Please check out Greg's Twitter if you have it. It's Ochimusha108. And hopefully we'll have him on soon. He's recovering right now from tonsil surgery, so we wish him a speedy recovery. And so I'm sure he's pretty active on Twitter this week. So why don't we get on into the next segment?
All right.
Why
Sounds good.
don't we?
This is the manga recap for chapter 914, Okobore Town. Better now, Stephen?
Yeah, it's better, yeah.
Okay. Improvement is what's important. Ed, wait.
What?
This is not Olympus.
Hey.
Hey.
Damn.
What is this?
Hey, so this means I have to take... Okay, so Stephen, I'll let you be the judge. You're the translator of One Piece. So, Caleb, let me fill you in here. We had a little contest to see when the Olympus cover story would end.
I've been following, yeah.
Okay. Since it's been going on indefinitely for since the beginning of the Reverie story.
Since you came back, Zach.
Yeah, since my
Even
wedding.
before then.
Since he was gone, yeah.
Yeah, it has been going on longer than I have been a married man. Should it be this chapter that counts as the end, or should it be the last one that it's probably last week, 913 is probably the last one, correct? Stephen, you're the translator. So.
Oh, are you asking me? I mean, look, the numbers are still going up, right?
What?
The last one was volume 41,
This is
and
volume.
this one is volume 42.
So you believe that this is still Olympus?
Oh, if this is Orlumbus or not? Wait,
That's what I'm asking.
You're asking me to spoil this information?
Oh shit! You know the answer to this. Okay, so you're saying I should not call the contest now because we have the Olympus contest. Okay.
Oh, you were counting that as the Orlumbus and not the
Yes.
the Straw Hat Fleet contest.
Correct. This is the
That's
end
a
of.
technicality.
So I was asking when the end of the Olympus cover story was. So I mean, can we
Okay.
say it's
All right.
officially
Okay.
over?
So the end of the Orlumbus cover. Well, the end of the story that says Straw Hat Fleet volume whatever Orlumbus name of the thing, that was 41.
So it's done. Olympus
Yeah.
is done. Okay, so that
Unless
means
they go back to it after this one.
possible.
You gotta watch him dusting his shelves or something.
Yes.
So believe it or not, so Steven, if it were this week, you would have won. But I picked 950 because I did not want to win. Ed picked 912. Steve picked 916. Alex, you picked 918. Maddie picked 921. But the winner, who picked 913, was Jill.
Ah, right.
So Jill already owes us an episode. So now she really owes us an episode. Okay, so let's talk about this. What the hell's happening here?
It's all pending no Grover Cleveland shenanigans.
Yeah,
here,
pending no-
non-consecutive.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. What is happening on this front page, Ed?
Well, there's a variety of flags and wind socks, and a guy in a cape carrying what looks to be some kind of helmet into a windmill town. Windmills, huh?
That's a bag.
Is
It's
it?
a bowling ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
It's kind of a satchel. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
not a
such
helmet
nice
though.
fingers.
it's definitely not a helmet.
You don't hold a helmet like that.
I was thinking he was like a submariner or something. Anyway. But yeah, so this is a Fuchsia village.
So I want to note some flags or whatever, not flags, cloths I see. I see Shanks's flag, it looks like, right behind the windmill.
I see
on
the
right.
Java logo. I see Apple Computer.
Yeah, I see Apple Computer. Hey, you ruined that for me. There's
the onsen symbol.
Onsen, yeah.
Onsen. Well, that's what he meant, Java. I think that's the same symbol as Java, right? The onsen symbol?
No, it's different. Java's coming out of a coffee cup.
That's onsen.
The Norwegian-ish flag, which is also, I guess, the Germa flag.
Is that Shanks's?
That's what I just
Jolly
said.
Roger?
Yeah, it looks like it.
There's one that's just a cog in the bottom right there.
There's an autumnal one. There's one with 3 hearts, which is like, I guess if communism just had hearts in it instead of a hammer and sickle. Like, it looks like the Chinese flag, but you replace it with
I'm really
hearts.
disappointed. I guess if this was drawn by an American author, I feel like for sure there would have been a pair of underpants with hearts on them.
Oh, 100%.
I'm bummed that there isn't one here.
Oh, yeah. It'd be super like Sergio Aragonés. Like,
yeah.
Look, there's Dick Butt up in the corner.
Really?
Made you look.
Okay. On whatever note that was.
Wait, who is this though?
Yeah, that's a good question.
My guess is probably Bellamy.
Oh, that would fit really well because it's he is kind of part of the Straw Hat fleet. Like, he didn't say officially yes or no, right? Isn't that?
He's got the Beaver card. He's like, I'm not going to join you, but I'll take this anyway.
Yeah.
On the other hand, is it just me or does he have a really long ass arm?
Oh, that's true. Look at
it. It looks weird.
Well, it could be a spring. It could be springs in there. Maybe that bag's really heavy. You don't know.
You know, there's 2 people we know it's not, but it kind of looks like, but we know is not. We know it's not Sabo because he's in the Reverie. And we know it's not Shanks because he's at the Reverie. Even though it kind of could be that.
Does Shanks have his left arm, or is it the right arm that he lost?
I don't know. That's not important. We only do a One Piece podcast.
I think he did lose his left arm, but
he lost
also
his left, right?
Yeah. But
left, right, so it's all the same.
I mean, you can kind of see actually that arm might have tattoos on it if you look just above the elbow.
So another. And I think Oda usually colors in Shanks' hair too.
Yeah. I think Bellamy is a really good guess. That didn't even occur to me. That's good job, Alex.
Thanks.
Let's get started, Ed, with the chapter.
Okay, so back in Okabore town in Kuri of Wano, and Tama is recovered. She's all better now. She really appreciates the help, but despite how fast it works, Zoro thinks this is suspicious. But the evil purging herb is apparently a very effective medicine. And I do like the image of the dog just hanging out outside the door.
We'll never remember his name.
Chio. It's Chio. I just call him Chio.
Kumachio, right?
Kumachio. Okay. But he's acting very much like a regular dog would. It's very cute. But yeah, she says it hasn't completely removed the poison from your body. You mustn't drink the river water anymore, Otama. Get it? No more river water. She says, yes, ma'am. And her stomach growls, and it's a warrior's shame. She runs off to drink from the river. And she's like, no, you just wait one moment, young lady. And elsewhere in the scene, the younger lady is bandaging up Zoro's arm. She says it's only a crude measure, however. And Zoro's like, yeah, thanks. You're big.
I kind of like that translation. Sorry, Steven. Are you the one who called her size, Steven? Because we discussed this.
I guess I probably gave it away for some people, but because I noted that last week, and I was a little bit taken aback by how much pushback I got from you guys. You're like, nah, whatever. It's just Oda just draws weird proportions like that, and I was like, no, she's really big, and yeah, she is. She's really tall.
Yeah, but there was
Big Mom was way bigger though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you suspect because of her name also, Stephen?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a kind of sort of joke. So her name with the honorific O is Okiku, and Ookiku would be like bigger or big in Japanese, and so yeah, I guess I could have, if you guys had understood Japanese, I could have made like a Japanese pun when we were discussing that. But no, she's just super tall.
Well, one day we'll have just you, Caleb, and Greg on a podcast. You guys could do the whole thing in Japanese and whatever.
Nobody.
No, it'll probably be our most downloaded episode. Keep going, Ed.
Yeah, Luffy's like, Big Mom was way bigger. And she continues, thank you for helping me. That's Simona. So earlier was attempting to court me. And forgive me for not introducing myself earlier. This one's name is Okiku. And this one, interesting phrasing. And but something else is going on off screen, I guess, as Luffy is confused. And it's like, no, I can't do it. I don't know what it is.
Stephen, can we get a translation note for what's
yeah.
Her speaking
so
style.
yeah, she uses a very humble pronoun in Japanese here, and I figured it would wait until, because she does say it again later in a scene that is more revealing, but it does not sound like something that you would expect a young lady to say.
Kelly.
And we find the source of the commotion, which is poor Otama going, please, ma'am, you got to take it away. I can't even pay for the medicine. There's no way I can afford this nice Oshiruko. And as she's pushing it away, we have this incredibly loud stomach gurgle going on. And we have, I don't want your money, silly. Eat up. The sweet bean porridge will make you feel better. And now we've got a little bit of bickering going back and forth, which says, I can't, I can't, that you and Okiku haven't had anything good to eat either. I can't accept the food after you've saved your life. I just can't do it. I promise I'll pay for the herbs. So stubborn as ever. And I absolutely loved this bottom panel. Silence, what kind of a woman sets out food for a hungry person and takes no thanks? I'm not hungry for an answer, while she shakes her. If you don't eat this, I'm just going to dump it on the side of the road. Please, Otama, just eat it. Once Otsuru makes an offer, she refuses to take no for an answer. And I love Okiku panicking in the background there. That's so stinking funny.
I guess Otsuru learned from the handbook of like Jewish parenting.
Yeah, I've been to this. I've been to this house before.
Look at her mouth is terrifying there.
Seriously.
To be fair, this is like an older generation of Jewish parent, but yeah, I think fair.
Can I ask another translation question of Stephen?
Sure.
So in panel 1 and 2 on this page, which says, there's no way I can afford this nice Oshiruko, and then Otsuru says, the sweet bean porridge, did that also say Oshiruko, but you spelled it out?
Yeah, well, yeah, that was me adding the context, because I was like, okay, we talked, I forget, did we talk about that last episode?
We did, yeah.
Okay, about Oshiruko, yeah. And so here it comes, into the actual content of the story. So I was like, okay, well, they need to know, what that means. And I did use the term in the signage. And so I was like, okay, well, I think there's enough room here. I can just sort of explain what it is, and obviously we'll get to see the reaction to it. So you get a picture of what this is like.
And not to cut in too much here, but I think you did something like that a chapter or two ago. I should remember these things, but where there was a Japanese word and you were able to explain.
Oh yeah. The Tsujigiri, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, with Zoro.
Go ahead.
And it looks like Otama's finally given up, and we sort of pan out on the seating area where you see the Kozuki clan. What looks like the Kozuki clan insignia next to the house.
Well, she's also a Suru, and it's a crane.
Yeah.
So that's true. Yeah.
Very interesting, confluence of symbols. However,
yeah.
Knowing what we know about the Kozukis in this area.
And now this was probably one of my favorite panels in the whole chapter, where you've got her still sort of deliberating over the food, sitting between Zoro and Luffy. Well, he's like, how long are you just going to sit there holding it? Lucky you, right? It's your birthday, too. Is that true? That's what I heard. And she finally gives in and decides to eat it. And her face is so cute. You see some tears coming out of her eyes and looks like steam coming out of her nose. And she just says, it's so good. I never knew food could be this good. And she's just crying while eating. And it's absolutely adorable.
Not to take away from the adorableness or Steven. I love Luffy's little look at the top left there with the question mark. Like, oh, this is interesting, but what the hell's happening? Go ahead,
Like
Steven.
someone's not eating food when it's in front
Yeah,
of them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So on the next page, Zoro is looking on kindly, and Luffy is surprised that she's never had this stuff before. And we get a little flashback to Hitetsu, the blade master, or the the blade forger, who is, he had said that all she does is weave hats, and he just gets this crude kind of barnyard feed at best. And yeah, it turns out it was true. And she is this is another great panel. She's kicking her feet because they don't reach the ground excitedly as she is pulling the mochi out of the porridge, which you could see in the previous panels when we were looking down into the cup. And oh wow, it's like a bonus. It's so extravagant. I'm not worthy. And she even says, like, this is the best day. I'll never have a better birthday. Sorry, master, because he's the one who buys her normal birthday food. But she's like, you're never going to top this one. And she's singing about the mochi. And Luffy asks the question that all the readers are asking, which is like, wait, didn't you pop little dango dumplings off of your cheeks? Like, doesn't that work? And she says, no, they don't fill my stomach. So. A bit of I guess a callback to some of the food powers from Whole Cake Island, right? Like how Struzen could make food, but it was like terrible. Like it kind of presumably tasted like the materials that he used or something like that.
Like the way her legs are swinging when she's eating is so cute.
Yeah, it's great.
It was also an answer to a piece together question from a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah. I know we talked about that. But now it's spelled out here in the story. And meanwhile, Tsuru, who is so considerate, is just kind of silently weeping into her kimono over off on the side. As Otama makes the same face again and says, "Today is the bestest day ever," with this funny little frog mouth thing that she's doing. And she's so overcome with her meal and the excitement that she just passes out, falls asleep. And so, some time has passed, and they're all sitting there at the edge of the bench here. And Tsuru is explaining that there are children just like her all over Wano. And Luffy is incensed. He's like, what? Poor kids, they can't even have a decent meal. I mean, at least when you're grown up, then you can eat the poison and survive. And she's like, what are you talking about? And but between, all the natural resources, you should be able to get all the food you need. If only we didn't ruin them ourselves with a very deliberate framing of factories with smokestacks and pollution in the background, a little on the nose. But
so, yeah, I know, we get it. It's a caucus. You don't have to.
New Jersey.
And then Tsuru says, "Oh, you guys are really nice. So what are your names?" And Zoro, who is of course in disguise, he says, "I'm Zorojuro, and I'm a Ronin." And Luffy continues, he starts to say, "I'm Monkey D." And he rocks the mic. And Zoro's like, "No, he's Luffy Taro." He just cuts him off. And Luffy's like, yeah, what he said. "I'm Luffy Taro." He throws in this little verily, like his little gozaru at the very end. Just because, he's in disguise.
He rocks the telly. Anyway, on the next page, we have Otsuru laughing at his ridiculous antics. You're from across the sea, aren't you? You speak so strangely. I don't know what accent I'm supposed to go for. Anyway, saying that she's saying that she is impressed that they got into the country, but that they should not worry. She's not going to reveal their secret. And Luffy's like, "How did she know? What did I do to give this away?" Tsuru says, "Look, it just happens. I'm also new to this town. Okiku's only been at her place for a month as well." And Zoro asks, as we get a look at a little bit more of the town of leftover scraps, or Okobore, and explains that it is quite literal. Okobore is the town of where people live off of scraps. And Luffy says that there was a place where there was food without poison. Where is that? And we see Otsuru pointing out, you see that mountain without the smokestacks? Far, far away from New Jersey. That is where there was once a peak where a building stood by the name of Odin Castle. But that was 20 years ago. And Zoro is like, Odin Castle? And Luffy's like, I wish I bought volume 73. What is that?
83.
83. I was 10 off. Okay. Why did I just skip that one? I should have read that. Anyway, he's trying to figure out where he heard that. Even how long ago was it in like real time here? It's a couple weeks, I guess. Luffy doesn't have a good retention for this.
Oh, and when they were in Zou.
Yeah, when they were in Zou. And by the way, Odin was described in the whale in Zou for those who do need the refresher like Luffy. Anyway, Otsuru continues, in case you forgot, saying, until 20 years ago, the land of Wano had been ruled by a family called the Kozuki clan, as Kelly mentioned earlier, with a very similar crest to Otsuru's, and said there is a large farm at the foot of that mountain that the late or dead Lord Odin created to feed the people of Curry good, healthy food. But he did not create Paradise Farm just so the shogun Orochi and his minions could hold the country's food under his thumb, which is what is currently occurring, apparently. Ed, you wanted to?
Oh, I was curious about. They said that the Kozuki clan ruled Wano. Is there like a different word for ruling, like an emperor? Or
daimyo. Wasn't it a daimyo?
No, the land of Wano. The whole thing sounded like.
No, I thought it was just Curry, right?
Yeah, it's a little
ambiguous.
It's a little ambiguous. The way that he means this, but I mean, it certainly implied that they were not just the daimyo of Kuri. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know for sure if the depiction of Wano here is going to be like a 1-to-1 parallel of how the shogunate worked, which is that you had these feudal lords, but that the shogun was sort of like the general who ran the country while the emperor was the figurehead and whatnot. Right. So we're not entirely sure. We haven't seen kind of the full scope of the story that he's telling here with Wano.
It's interesting because there were still emperors during the shogunate period, but they were effectively powerless. And so It doesn't seem like, because at some point Odin left to go with Roger, as was described, Volume 3.
Yeah.
So
he might have been exiled. I mean, we don't know exactly.
That's part of the mystery.
Yeah, at one point in this story, I would love to, this is only me, just have a guest on who is like super knowledgeable about Japanese history. Anyway, and Luffy asks if that's where all the non-poison food is, at the foot of this paradise farm at the foot of the mountain. And Otsuru replies, yes, safe and tasty crops and ingredients and clean water and clothes, it all belongs to the shogun. Caleb.
Yeah. Okay. So then we zoom far out to see the very giant Torii Gate, which is apparently where the officials dwell, and the people of Okobore live off the scraps that they no longer need and the rotting food that they sell them. And we have another panel of the town with some very interesting signage, which I did a little homework before coming on because I was interested in these signs. The ones on the far right, one of them says soba, as in the noodles, and the one that looks like 2-8 is nihachi, which refers to a certain type of soba that's 20% udon flour and 80% buckwheat flour.
I'm hungry.
And then going across, we have paper lanterns, which are, what did I say? Oh, choten. The one in the middle is geta, as in the wooden clog sandals. And on the far left is the character for woman, which means that that's probably a public bathhouse with areas for to separate the genders. Anyway, so they get by on the scraps that the officials give them. And out of nowhere, we get a swoo and attack, and it's an arrow that almost kills Otsuru, but Zoro is too quick for that, of course. Who's there? Kikiki. Kikiki being the traditional sort of onomatopoeia for bats, actually, in Japanese. And it is none other than Batman. Batman.
Kiki.
When he heard Otsuru bad-mouthing the Shogun, kind of, because his hearing as a bat is 6 times as powerful as a human's. And the townspeople say it's a gifter. Apparently he's a class of grunt or lieutenant, whatever, called gifters, with the bat smile fruit, one of the Caesar clowns and Doflamingo's animal fruits. So Zoro talks back to him. Fine, you heard it. Is that a reason to take her life? She would have died if it hit her. Then Okiku is glad that Otsuru is safe. And Batman goes on that as long as... I'm sorry, Batman.
Yeah, it's really hard to take this seriously.
Batman continues. As long as you live clean and smart, you won't get in trouble around here. But Lord Orochi does not suffer rebellious ideas.
Surprised we didn't go with a Christian Bale voice here.
I was going to say,
I mean, hey,
swear to
Swear to me.
Yeah.
if you don't want to laugh when you say it, just call him Bruce.
I love the audacity of Oda, not only for this to be like the first gifter that we see, like just sort of the template gifter.
Since so.
Yeah, but like, you know, as a template, like, okay, this is what the pattern is, to not only lead off with Batman, but to have him be like, you know, hey, say hello to like 1137th place on the next character popularity poll, like just the ugliest looking character you could possibly do. It's amazing.
So for our translators here, is Batman written the same as Batman, the superhero in Japanese?
Yeah, he is Batman.
Batman.
And
okay.
so I asked Alexia, I was like, okay, is it okay to do this? Like, are we just going to call him Batman? And he was like, okay, well, wait, does it have a dash or not? And I was like, okay, Spider-Man has the dash, but Batman doesn't, right? And he's like, yeah, okay, so put the dash in. He's like, okay.
So what's going to happen when you get to Spider-Man?
Ooh,
Oh shit!
I don't know.
You're screwed there.
We'll give him another adjective, so he'll be like
Arachnid Man.
the annoying Spider-Man.
Oh, there you go.
Just spell spider with a Y.
Yeah.
That's true.
Arachno Man, like the terrible wrestler.
It's like a Venture Brothers character.
If we do get in trouble and we have to change it, it will just be person. It'll be Spider Person or Bat Person.
Bad person.
Spider-Man? No dash. Or yeah. Or you can call him Onigumo. Onigumo Man.
Go ahead, Alex. Yeah.
All right. So he's saying that they'd better watch their back because they, as in the gifters, are on the search for thieves at the moment. I could try to do a voice right now for this guy, but I'll nah.
He's got a mustache. He could be Batmanuel.
Oh, Batmanuel. Yeah.
Batman Miranda? Is that
Batmanuel Miranda? Yeah, that's right.
This is a bizarre.
He's gonna write and rap really well, but sing not so well. All right.
We already have some really weird episode titles for today. Go ahead.
So, food's been stolen from the farm over the last few weeks. He says, or rather, food's been stolen from the farm over the last few weeks. That would be you, Ronin, wouldn't it? That's my Christian Bale Batman. Thank you. And he's asking them who they are. They've blocked all of his arrows, and he notices Zoro and with a germ. And he says, hey, a one-eyed Ronin. I've seen your likeness on the town notice boards. And
I like that he's Christian Bale, but with a lisp. Or does Christian Bale have a lisp?
He does, yeah.
Have you seen The Dark Knight? Like,
he has.
Yeah.
Is that a lisp? It's just more of a speech impediment. Okay, I don't know. Go ahead.
What's the difference?
Yeah,
they're different.
Okay.
So, Tama, you hear in the background go, who the heck are you? As we hear a stomp, 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 which catches Luffy's attention immediately, and he notices that Tama has been taken by Gazelle Man of the Gifters. Now, this is a fun design. This guy is way cooler looking than Batman, and very different looking than the Gazelle Man from the Kinniku Man series, which leads me to believe that Panda Man may or may not show up. Who knows?
Oh.
But a different kind of Panda Man.
Oh.
So he's running. He's running with a ho 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 ho. I am uncatchable. I run 200 kilometers per hour. And
I sound like John Lovitz.
You know what? There it is. Gazelle Man.
Oh god.
So there he is, running at 200 kilometers an hour. Which, if anybody knows the metric system, you can help me out.
It's about 125 miles an hour.
Boom,
Mm-hmm.
Yummy. So Thomas being kidnapped, and you see somebody snag Katana as Komachio barks, and it's Okiku. She says, "Otama, no, he's too fast." As she dashes like a badass and jumps onto Komachio. And she says, "Take me to her, Komainu." And with a woof, they both get going.
Which series would you rather watch? Batman the animated series or Gazelle Man the animated series? Anyway, Steven.
Oh yeah, I want to say. So I hate to bring this into the discussion, but Alex, you did show me because I think this would be interesting to talk about. You did show me that in Gazelle Man's little speech about how fast he runs, that the Scanlations had a very kind of literal translation of this, and that he uses in Japanese, he uses the term idaten, which is I think it's technically a Buddhist figure. I want to say like the Japanese name for it's some mythological figure, but it is like a being or a deity or something like that who is extremely fast, who is known for being extremely fast. And so the term, so it's used sort of like how we use names from the Bible.
Mercury? Wasn't Mercury
like that?
Like
Hermes. Come on, Zach.
Yeah.
Mercury.
Wasn't Mercury the messenger, and he had the wings on the back of his?
The
They're
Roman.
the same person.
That's Roman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, the lesser.
Yeah, you just came back from Greece. I get it.
Yeah. And that is used kind of colloquially in Japanese to just to refer to anyone who is fleet of foot. But I thought it was interesting, just very coincidental that this happened to come in the chapter when we have Caleb on, because he might be able to tell us about that term in one of his series.
Sure. So fans of My Hero Academia might recognize Ida-ten as the Ida family's hero agency.
That's right.
They use different kanji. Of course, E is the kanji for meshi or rice. Da is ta or field. But then the 10 is the same in both Tenya's name. Tenya is the character we know as Ida in Class 1A. And his brother is also Tensei. So they both have the 10. They are both technically Ida-tens, and they both run fast.
Wow.
When you read them in Japanese order as it's presented in the series, then yeah.
Wow,
So that's a neat little thing to note. Yeah.
That's really cool. I guess if this guy really was Hermes, though, he'd probably be saying something like, "Sweet gazelle of Cozumel."
Perfect. I was so hoping for that. All right, go ahead. Oh wait, who's going? Caleb.
Oh, okay. Next page. So Zoro notes that Okiku just took Katana, and Otsuru says that she knows Okiku can use the sword, but she's never seen it herself. Luffy grabs onto Komachio, and Zoro grabs onto Luffy. I thought for a second Luffy grabbed onto Zoro, but no. Zoro's in on this. He wants to go. And they're all along for the ride. Otsuru is, of course, shocked that Luffy is a rubber man because she did not know that yet. And they join Okiku on Komachio. Why are they going after the kid? It's not clear, but we have to get her back. and they are running, running, running. Batman is shooting arrows all the while. And Komachiyo doesn't look like he gets hit, but he's having some trouble with the arrows. And Zoro notes that this abduction was clearly planned. It was very organized. Okiku notes that they are running towards the officials' town, and that there are 3 headliners in the area. One of the headliners, of course, we already know, is Hawkins. The other 2 are named Hold'em and Speed. Plus 30 warriors with powers gained through mysterious artificial fruit, meaning the smile fruits. So presumably 30 Zoan warriors. And either Luffy or Zoro are like, is that a notebook? Who are you? Why do you have a notebook? And apparently Okiku is a samurai, which she reveals here. Tugs back her hair to do some fighting, hopefully, with a bang.
It's interesting. I looked at her sword. It's got a sort of a 3-leaf clover shaped hilt, which is different from any of the ones that Zoro has.
So yeah, she said the phrase "this one," which if you were reading it in Japanese, it would be a little more clear, or you would have an inkling that it was coming. But here it is, kind of confirmed that she is a samurai, because the pronoun that she uses in Japanese is sesha, which is it is known most, I think, explicitly to people through Kenshin, and I'm not sure because I've never actually read like the Viz English version of Kenshin. Does anyone recall or know if that's how they translate like his speech? Does he call himself this one, or
it's similar to that? I haven't read it since I bought those Viz Big volumes like 10 years ago, I guess now. Yeah, that was around the time we started the show.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I read it, but I remember his speech being like that.
Yeah, so he has like 2, I guess 3 main things that he does. One of which is, of course, like the oro thing that he, whenever he's confused. But then he also is always, every sentence ends with degozaru, and he refers to himself as sesha, and that just means like this, humble one, or it is a very very humble a pronoun, and it's not something that you ever hear outside. It's like Shakespearean at this point. It's just like, oh, okay, the only time you ever hear that used is when it's like samurai talking about themselves, and so yeah, here you see for sure that she is apparently a samurai. And on the last page here, we see Gazelle Man is zooming along, and he is talking to Master Hold'em, which I guess if the card game pattern wasn't obvious enough, you have Hold'em and then Speed. I guess that's be Speed Poker, right?
I looked up as Speed is a card game. I think it's just a separate card game. It's just called Speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking to Hold'em here. And Gazelle Man is he's got the kid from the report who is the one who tamed the baboon, and then we get this the Oda tease the silhouette of Hold'em, who appears to be a lion. He's certainly drawn the way that Oda draws lions, with
totally Absalom, right, guys?
Yes, like Absalom.
Like we all hope
Absalom.
to see him again.
Master Hold'em is Absalom. And he is saying, good, it seems like she could be useful. Bring her here. And, Otama is crying for Luffy. And here they go. Okiku is leading them through the Torii Gate, which is looming just way overhead. You can really tell the scale of how tall this gate is, as they head into Bakura, the town of officials and pirates. And maybe it's just because they're kind of going up steps, but the buildings even look a little more menacing as they proceed. Of course, Zoro and Luffy are all excited about it. Let's go! And she's like, "Wait, are you smiling? What?" And meanwhile, somewhere in the forest, this could be on top of that mountain, I suppose, although it's not for sure. But we have people talking, and yes, it is the Heart Pirates again. Captain, we got trouble, Captain. And Beppo is reporting, it's Straw Hat and Roronoa. They're heading into Bakura town. And there he is, just lounging, relaxing, got his feet up. There's Law. Straw Hats and Wano, and then he bolts up to his feet as he realizes, oh shit, wait, no, that's bad. That's bad. He's going to cause nothing but trouble. Yeah, exactly. We got to stop those idiots. Aye, aye, Captain. And
it may contain potassium benzoate.
That's bad.
So yeah, that's gonna end chapter 914. Thoughts on this chapter? Let's start with our translators. I'll give Caleb a little time. Stephen, you could go first.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Man, I most of it was just some kind of straightforward exposition, I guess. The conversation on the first half, a lot of the stuff with Otama, it was just kind of reiterating stuff that we already know, getting more of her characterization as being just kind of this pitiable little orphan who's never had anything nice in her life, and how cute she is when she is actually doted upon for once, and then kind of, I guess, going through more of the world building of this arc, kind of explaining what the deal is with this town, what the other town is, where they're going, kind of giving us some perspective on the distant center of power in this country, and how we're kind of working our way up. And that stuff was good. The Batman thing just killed me when I saw it. It's so great. It's so dumb. There was, even though Batman himself looks really stupid, I loved particularly the panel where Zorro blocks the arrow. It's so dynamic in the way that the shadow from the sword is running across Otsuru's face as she looks shocked. I thought that was a really, really neat panel. I love the illustration of the characters there. And other than that, Okiku seems cool. I think after the last chapter, a lot of people, the initial reaction is just okay, well, she doesn't look as interesting as Otsuru does. She doesn't have a kind of more pointed design. She just looks a little bit more generic female character. But knowing that she's a samurai, and she's even got a little bit of that Tashigi kind of nerd. She keeps a memo book with information in it. Was kind of cool. So I'm curious to see if Oda is kind of intentionally playing after Tashigi was played up as resembling Kuina. I'm interested if Okiku is going to be played up as resembling Tashigi to Zoro. Maybe not, but that was a very, I guess, promising scene where it's okay, cool. What, now I'm interested. Tell me more about this character Okiku. And then Law at the end, I think we all knew that was coming after seeing Beppo and Penguin and Shachi in the last chapter. But that's just he's fleshing out the arc pretty rapidly, and I'm ready for more.
Caleb.
All right, so I guess I would reiterate a few of the things Steven said. Very excited with these new characters so far. Otsuru with her very unique design, and then Okiku subverting expectations of just being the normally proportioned generic female character. No, she's actually gigantic and a samurai and a nerd and all that stuff, which is really fun. I also I had a few questions for Steven from the sort of translation perspective again. Mm-hmm. Bakura, the new town, the town of officials, was that just written in kana?
No, that one is in kanji, but as far as I can tell, that one is not. It does not seem to be a literal translation the way that a lot of the other places have been. Kind of similar to, I guess, so Okobore town is mm-hmm. I believe that's just hiragana. So that's a very literal, the town of scraps, like I translated it. Yeah. Bakura is in kanji, which is, that another place that is in Wano that we mentioned in this chapter is Kuri, the name of the land. Mm-hmm. And that isn't particularly, that just sounds like a place name that you might find in Japan. Bakura, if he's going for something, I'm not entirely sure. what it is at this point, but it does not correspond to any actual existing word in Japan that I'm aware of.
Okay, cool. And yeah, my other question was just, about the term headliners. What was the original Japanese for that?
Yeah, so that one, this is of course going back to I think
Yeah.
So was the first time that we saw this term used. That one is shinuchi, which is a headliner is actually kind of a pretty literal, straightforward translation of that. It is, it refers to in a night of entertainment, like whether that's a concert or whether as I noted, I think when I first talked about this a few weeks ago, it could also be like rakugo performers, because they do that as well. Each guy takes his turn, or maybe like a comedy show or something like that. The shinuchi is the headline, is the last act. It is the one that everyone is there to see, and it ties into the fact that all of Kaido's I guess his crew structure, or whatever you want to call it, like his ranks, appear to be related to stage performance of some kind or another. So that's where I got it.
Okay, yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly.
So I continue to get more excited by every bit of world building that's happening. Aesthetically, just everything has been so on point as far as just hooking me in with the look and feel of everything. So visually, I've been just absolutely enjoying this, in this particular chapter as well. I really just think that every single action sequence we've seen has just been drawn so beautifully, whether it's the arrow or getting on the giant dog to go chase after them. There just seems to be more. It just feels a little different than some of the action sequences we've seen to date. They just seem more stylish, and that just keeps continuing on. So I'm really enjoying a lot of that. I'm also kind of glad that they're sort of part and parceling out the other characters little by little. It kind of builds up that suspense and makes you wonder what's going on with everyone else. So I kind of like that everyone hasn't gotten together, even though it's been a while. I do like that everyone hasn't gotten together just yet. But I'm pretty curious to see a little bit more with Hold'em, because I'm kind of curious whether he's actually someone who's eaten the zone devil fruit, or is maybe a mink that has gone bad. Because I'm wondering if maybe that helped them get onto Zoe.
Yeah, the Zoe connection is curious. Alex.
Okay, so I liked it. This was a wordy chapter in comparison to the last couple, huh? So the introduction of smile users, how fun. I love how Batman's entire bottom half of a body is 90% of a bat. That kind of kills me. Hold'em, I'm going to call it right here that lion head is a part of his body, in his stomach or his chest, kind of like Kraven the Hunter. Or maybe his butt, if you want to, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
It seems like if he was just had a lion head that looked like Absalom, it would be kind of a letdown, right?
Yeah, that. I don't think that's his head. That's like an elbow. I don't know. I think we're getting the rug pulled over our eyes here. Okiku kind of rules. The first thing that I thought of with her was Quina. I don't know, just kind of got me thinking at first, oh man, what if she's Quina? And then I'm like, no, she's probably not Quina. But what if Quina's alive? What would happen if Quina was alive and in Wano, and what that would do for Zoro's mind would kind of be blown and be like, oh my god, the reason that I set out to be a pirate is sort of null at this point because I can keep my promise literally now or whatever. I don't know.
And she grew to be 3 feet taller than
I'm
him.
gonna say that's one hell of a growth spurt.
I mean, I was thinking about this too. Yeah, and she was already taller than him when they were kids. Like I think that height gap is still going to be there. But she doesn't look like Oda's typical, typical Oda female in that sense. She kind of looks like Otohime a little bit in the face.
Yeah, I see that.
I see it.
Thinking on it, yeah. I'm excited to see what she can do. It'll be cool. Like this entire arc is something that I've been looking forward to for a long time, just to see Zoro be outclassed in terms of swordsmanship, and also for Zoro to geek out over swords and stuff like that. I was thinking about Nidai Kitetsu and what if Zoro just kept getting swords and he eventually just had like a whole scabbard of swords on his back, and he would use 3 at a time, but like.
What is he, General Grievous? But, not lightsabers?
No, I just mean like at this point he has just a selection of swords to use. Like that's what I kind of want now. Like I have a secret, like now I have just stuff I want out of Zoro this arc. Like that's basically
a sword room on the Sunny.
Yes.
He needs a sword caddy.
He does. Chopper is right behind him. Like
no, with the radio in it and it plays Journey.
Hey everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Or like spaghetti time, where he just comes in. Okay.
Zoro orders all of his swords.
I mean, Wano isn't that different from Caddyshack. It's the slobs versus the snobs.
That's true.
Should we be calling the gifters one or the other there?
So I don't know. It was mostly just rambling thoughts. I like this chapter a lot. Much like all these other chapters, I'm curious to see where they go forward, and they just keep going forward, which is excellent. Oh, one thing that like popped into my mind. As soon as Luffy gets named Luffy Taro, I'm like, boom, there it is. Oda, you just made this super obvious. What's going on?
Momotaro
like as if the
reference, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as if the baboon and the dog weren't enough. Like, there you go. Luffy's basically named Momotaro, I think.
What are we missing still?
Well, we're missing the pheasant.
The pheasant.
And we're missing the Oni that he goes to fight, which I guess could either be Orochi or
Kaido.
Kaido, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
I don't know. That's
really interesting, yeah. Ed?
Otama really carries, I think, the first half of this chapter with just being cute. Like, she's revived, and then she's like got these major attitude swings of, I'm feeling good. My stomach hurts. I'm gonna go drink the water. Don't drink the water. But then like crying over the food, like the way she like pushes the food away from her, but then also shimmies backward like you're supposed to on your knees when you're like leaving a room when you're like a servant or something. She has that going for her, and the Otsuru, like I love that panel with Otsuru like unhinging her mouth like an eel, preparing to devour the child. A little bit.
The way I would have described it, but okay.
Well, it's terrifying either way.
Yeah.
It looks. I feel like there was an ukiyo-e painting where that looks kind of I mean, she is a walking ukiyo-e painting, so I'm not sure, but go ahead, yeah.
But then she continues being cute for like the first half of the chapter, and pretty much until she falls asleep. Although I am a little disappointed that it's another kidnapping in One Piece, so you have to chase after.
At least it's not Peterman this time.
Well, yes, exactly. And it's not a Straw Hat who's kidnapped, so it's a little different.
Yeah,
but it's getting us from point A to point B to point C to point D. So
right.
Point L at the moment because Claw's getting involved.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Luffy was being Luffy, and I just really like that joke of him saying like, yeah, when you're older you can handle the poison because he's Luffy. He doesn't really get it. Yeah, I'm curious because I just googled Okiku, and there's also a ghost story about Okiku, and it doesn't seem to be relevant to this, but Oda's definitely looking into Japanese folklore, and I just wonder if that name is not by accident. So could be something else. I don't know. Batman's ridiculous. I,
The Batman, so cool.
he does have that mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of hope they like, do a who was the guy from Dragon Ball Kai who got fired for plagiarizing the score?
Oh,
I hope they just rip off Batman OST.
Yamamura, was that his name?
Maybe, I don't know, but
Yamamura?
bring that guy back. He can guest on an episode of One Piece. No, Batman. Anyway, that's all I got to say.
No, Batman.
yeah. You have to pronounce
I know-
the dash. Yeah.
I know we talked more about Batman than Gazelle Man, but I do like the touch that, like, okay, if your thing is that you run really fast and you have really nice legs, like why wouldn't you show it off? Slap some fish tights on them.
Obviously.
Yeah.
The fishnets and garters.
Yeah.
Gazelle Man is truly absurd looking. Yeah. Anyway, have any of you actually eaten oshiruko? Or
No, I haven't.
I don't think I've
think
had
I
that one.
have.
Yeah.
yeah, it looks interesting. It looks like a very Japanese dish. Like
I want to try it.
well, you had your
Yeah,
chance
it's-
and you didn't. You were just there.
I know.
It looks like
Zach,
the most Japanese dish I've ever seen. Just that
Do
it's
you
like
have opinions, Zach?
maybe next time I go, I'll or if maybe in New York City somewhere, I'll try and find it. This doesn't really seem like my scene. Although this comes from a website called japancenter.com, but it's a very weirdly worded. Finish off your meal with a Japanese cockle-warming favorite, an oshiruko sweet red bean soup. Yeah,
Well, you don't like your cockles getting warm?
I thought that was a very odd way to put that. So no, I'm always interested. I mean, like One Piece got me into like takoyaki, so like I'm always interested in seeing what the characters are eating and when I haven't heard of those things. So
I mean, it pretty much just depends. Yeah, it just depends whether or not you like anko, like the sweet bean paste, because it's the same thing. It's just a slightly different consistency.
I don't hate it, but I wouldn't want it like exclusively. So that makes me think that I would not love it. Like sometimes it's just too much of something.
It's interesting to think about with mochi in it.
Sure. So I mean, the soba and udon that we talked about before sound way better. So I'll go quick here. Yeah, I enjoyed this chapter for all the reasons people said. These chapters definitely feel kind of like, just like brief parts of like a bigger thing, which it always is, but I feel like they're really hard to judge individually, just because we're so early in the story and there's no context to it. It's like judging the middle of a sentence, It's like, these words are pretty nice, but I don't really know how they fit together here. So I mean, it feels expository in a lot of ways, but there's some fun moments, and I enjoyed reading it, but I don't have a strong opinion. So do any of you guys have anything else you want to say? Otherwise, I think I'm pretty good.
I actually had two more sort of dumb
Please.
comments. Yeah. So does anyone remember a filler episode? I think it was in Water 7 where Luffy befriends a guy with an Odin cart or a boat or something. Did I make
That sounds familiar.
Is
Is
that
this
the one that-
is this like around the time that Sanji's collecting salt from the roofs to
Yeah,
make food?
I
Yes,
think it was
those-
that set of filler.
Mhm.
But anyway, the line in this chapter, Odin, I know I've heard that name before. That was what I thought of. I
Just
forgot.
give it the filler.
Yeah, I was like, oh, right. That's where Luffy learned about Odin in
All right.
7.
Michael and Hoikel? Heikel?
Michael.
That's Zoro with Michael and Hoikel is definitely that same set of filler.
Well, he also make there's also a guy who has an Oden boat in the first One Piece movie.
Oh, maybe that was
Oh,
what
that's
I'm
right.
Yeah.
thinking of. Okay.
That's
Somewhat.
another food I have not had. I need to try that.
It's like
good.
a hot pot, right? It's like
Yeah.
something like that.
It's
Yeah.
good.
I love hot pots, so I'm sure I'd love. Is shabu shabu Japanese or is that a Korean term?
Shabu Shabu is Japanese.
Jap-
It is
Japanese.
Japanese. Okay.
Onomatopoeia.
So what's the difference between shabu shabu and Oden?
Shabu Shabu
Oden,
is Yeah. Go ahead.
Oden's more like a soup or a stew, right?
Yeah, oden is like a bunch of different stuff that is stewed together in a pretty light broth. Shabu shabu is like you boil the raw meat or the real thin cut of meat in water, and then you dip it in sauce and eat it. I think that's right.
Yeah. You kind of just cook it really fast and then take it out, whereas like the Oden's, it stays in the broth.
See, hot pot sounds more like oden than shabu shabu. Whatever. This is for our food podcast.
Oden is good like street food, and they also have it in lots of konbinis. Even you can just go in and take a scoop, put it in a little container.
That sounds
I actually
great.
had that when I was there 2 weeks ago.
Well, you were in Hokkaido, right? So, well,
No, I actually had it at a konbini.
Oh, okay, cool. I could devote a whole podcast to Japanese food, but next time. Let's move on into the next segment.
Oh, sorry.
All
Wait,
right.
sorry. What? I had one last
Please, I forgot.
observation.
Yeah.
I just thought it was neat. In the very final panel with Law, so the whole final spread, you have the Beben, even with Luffy and Zoro. But then in Law's final, it's not a Beben, it's just a Don.
Whoa.
That sort of, I don't know if it was intended this way, but it kind of comes off as like a record scratch.
Yeah, I saw that, but that's interesting. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Adventures in Wano. And then what? Who's this?
This guy shouldn't
Yeah.
be here, guys.
Yeah, he's been using the don like here and there, and I think he's kind of playing around with like the difference, like it should feel when you're reading it like the difference between the shamisen being plucked and like the drum being hit.
That's how I see
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Like that deep was it Toko? Not what the hell's the name of it?
Taiko.
I was close. Drum. Yeah. Record scratch. How did Law get here? Okay, so let's move on into the next segment. So we're going to be doing a little interview time with our guest today, Caleb. So Caleb, how did you get into One Piece? Let's go all the way back. When did you get into it? How did you get into it?
Right. So, well, first of all, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course.
As for One Piece, I think it was, I don't remember how old I was, maybe 10 or something, in like the supermarket magazine section, back when Viz had the physical jump, and it just stood out on the shelf. It was like one week when they actually had One Piece on the cover, and the art style was just so crazy, and I absolutely hated it at first. But then I got curious, and I picked it up, and I was like, this is interesting. And then, of course, Fox, the channel, Fox had their weekend lineup, the 4Kids lineup. And I definitely started watching that, watched the whole 4Kids run, which was, had its ups and downs. And then it was in freshman year of college that I joined Arlong Park forums and really just went full on like fanboy at that point. And yeah, One Piece was basically my gateway into manga, I would say. Like I'd watched Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon on Toonami before that, but for manga specifically. It was
How old were you? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, well, I am 29 right now. I'm pretty sure I was around 10 when I saw it in Jump in the store.
Wow.
So were you buying the monthly American Jump issues to read One Piece, or were you getting the paperbacks?
For a while, yeah, I had the Jump subscription from Biz, the physical ones. I wish I still had them.
Zach, you've got like issue 0 kicking around your parents' house, right?
Issue 0 of Shonen Jump? No, I think I have issue 0 of New Type magazine.
Ah, that's right.
It's a very different magazine.
Well,
You're making me feel very old for a moment there, but I think that you may actually have the numbers off, because Viz didn't start until, what was that, like 2002 maybe, or 2001?
Okay, maybe I was 12 then.
Yeah.
Jump was either 02 or 03. I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Yeah. It was a while ago, but it was about like 15 or 16 years ago at this point, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that I want to ask you definitely the typical questions, but you're also only like one of very few translators we've had on this show, right, Stephen?
Yeah, it's very new territory.
Okay.
Well, other translators, yes.
So how did you get into translation?
Right. So in college, I majored not in Japanese, in economics, which has been completely useless up to now. But I minored in Japanese, took all the classes, moved to Japan right after graduating, did 2 years in the JET program. And when I came back, without a job, I was like, okay, what can I do with this skill set? And I was fortunate. I didn't get any work for a while, but at some point I was fortunate enough to have a friend of a friend of a family friend who knew somebody at Yen Press, which is, the big publisher that's not Viz or Kodansha. Mm-hmm. And I did a little translation test for them. They hired me on for a few projects. Also picked up some work with Udon, and then eventually it was actually our good friend Steven here who gave my name to Alexi, the One Piece editor at Viz.
I'm trying to remember, were they doing? I'm trying to remember the context of that because, I definitely remember that you were curious, but I couldn't remember if they were looking for more translators at the time, and I was like, okay, well, I know Caleb, or if they were looking for Jumpstart people or something, because they're always kind of juggling folks to work because they have this kind of flux of titles that come and go, and they do these jump starts where every series gets a few chapters and
well, for what it's worth, the first maybe 6 months of working with Viz, I only had jump starts, so it was probably that.
Okay, yeah.
And then My Hero Academia came at that point, and that was
good transition. So you share something in common with the creator of My Hero Academia, Kohei Horikoshi, whose name, am I pronouncing well, Stephen? Or
yeah, you did that better than almost any other Japanese name.
Oh, that running joke. You both got into Usopp's gallery. That's right?
Uh-huh. That was during my years of extreme One Piece fanboyism on Arlen Park, I decided to take a risk and apply my Japanese skills in sending a few pictures of my art to Usopp's gallery. And sort of, I guess the idea is that I was hiding the fact that I was not Japanese. I used a pen name and everything because we collectively as a community had observed that very few foreigners ever got into Usopp's gallery.
I feel like that's been changing a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely been changing. At the time, though, there were very few foreigners and also very few sculpture, which is the art I do. It was almost all up to that point, 2D drawings or weird stuff like cosplay or sandcastles or whatever.
Caleb, I tweeted at you, I think, a couple weeks ago, but it was the first time I had put 2 and 2 together that you were the same person who did those.
Right. It all comes full circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I literally before we spoke, I'm like, oh yeah, were you the one? Yeah. That's really, really cool. I mean, were you in Japan when that happened?
No, that was when I was in college, because it was volumes 54, 56, 58, and 60.
You were in 3?
4 times.
Oh, 4. Wow. I can't count, obviously. So how exciting was that? I'll say the first time.
It was very, very exciting. I mean, yeah, at that point, obviously I wasn't in the industry at all. So to get even my pen name, not my real name, but a pen name into One Piece of all things was kind of mind blowing.
Do you mind saying where you were in the JET program? I know that's what Greg did as well, I think.
Yeah. I think so. I was
curiosity.
In Miyagi Prefecture, which is way up north. It's about 2 prefectures away from as north as you can be before you're in Hokkaido.
Cool.
Sufficient to say, very, very cold, very inaka, very countryside, very boring.
So the summers weren't quite as brutal, I guess. Probably.
Oh no, they were.
Oh, okay. So best of all worlds there.
Yeah, 3 months of brutal summer, a few weeks of fall, and then 7 months of winter. Basically no spring.
Yeah. Summer in Boston is no fun either, Zach. It's still terrible in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's fair.
Similar climate to the Northeast U.S., honestly.
Yeah, well, great. So you want to talk a little bit about My Hero Academia? How has it been being the translator for the breakout Shonen Jump hit?
Right. So I don't know. At the start, like I kind of have the impression that they didn't know how big it was going to be. And I base that just sort of on the fact that they assigned it to me, of all people. Like, as I said, I had done maybe 3 jump starts at that point with Viz. That was it. And then they were like, oh, here, have this weekly simulpub. Like, maybe it's going to be something. And yeah, I mean, we all know how that turned out. So it's been crazy. It's been, I don't want to be dramatic and say career making, but like, I'm very inspired to not leave this field of work now because of this series and a few others.
Did you get to speak to Horikoshi when he was at San Diego Comic-Con at all? I don't know, like.
Yeah, so Friday night, I had dinner with him and his posse at a restaurant in San Diego.
Wow.
Like a private dinner.
Yeah.
I didn't get to talk to him as much as I'd like to have because he sort of had all these angry Japanese men surrounding him. Who were sort of impenetrable, but it was still very cool.
I've been to that restaurant too, just so you know. So
Yeah,
it's like I was there almost. It's great.
I should have like messaged you and just said like, come and show up and you can sit.
Yeah. No, we were probably off getting dinner of our own at some point. That is a very long and exhausting con if you're doing it all days.
I have nothing to compare it to, but it was exhausting. I'll take your word for it.
I mean, I think that's probably still a really rare opportunity for a translator to meet the creator of their work. I mean, I guess we're used to the creator of One Piece, who's notoriously reclusive, and yeah, but
he's just busy, Zach.
Both. Okay?
The man sleep.
I want Steven to meet him, and all of us.
Nice.
Yeah, one day in the distant future.
Yeah, he also had the benefit of working on the series since its inception, and One Piece has. Well, Steven's the final translator pretty much, but it's had other translators throughout its publication.
That's true. Do you guys have any other questions for Caleb?
I'm curious how. So I have to admit I have not like poured through like the extra materials in like the graphic novels, but like how as you know, just speaking as a translator, given that My Hero Academia has so many, there are all these Japanese names. Obviously they have the hero names, but they have the Japanese names and they're so punny. Yeah. Like how do you feel like do you just feel like you're constantly letting all of this like sort of language information trickle past without being able to expose it to the first time reader? Are there places where they're letting you kind of explain the context, or like how is that going?
Right. So I mean, the editor John Bay, he's pretty receptive to like the little notes I write in, and if I decide that it is worth putting something in. For the names specifically, yeah, you kind of nailed it. It's all just slipping past, which is kind of too bad. And that was actually one of the reasons why I decided to start doing this ridiculous stuff on Twitter that I do with the trivia threads, because I do want, like, I think it would be nice for the fans to sort of get all that information that unfortunately cannot make it into like the liner notes or footnotes at the end.
For some reason, didn't know John Bay was the editor of.
He's
really cool.
He's the weekly editor, and Mike Montesa is the graphic novel.
Okay, I don't think I know Mike, but John's great. Yeah.
So, what have you worked with John on?
No, we've interacted a lot as part of the podcast and with Shonen Jump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he did some extraneous One Piece material in the magazine.
He did a lot of features, and I know that he is a huge One Piece fan personally, so I think that's probably how you guys how he was making contact with the podcast.
Yeah, I think he like wanted to come on the show a bunch, like just to talk some One Piece. Yeah, because Alexi, has kind of monopoly over One Piece there.
Right.
Yeah. So I know Ryan and John Bay were interested in getting in on that territory a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully we could have you on a lot more in the future as well, Caleb. But okay, cool.
All right, we'll look forward to that then.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. Caleb, where could people find you? And what other work do you do?
Oh, what other work? So many things. So I am on Twitter at CD Cubed, and there is a link to my personal website through my Twitter profile, which has all my works cited. If I had to pick one other one, I would say Dr. Stone.
That's the big one right now. Yeah.
Still kind of niche, but I love it, even if Alexi doesn't.
Dragon Ball Super's pretty big too, I think.
People have heard of that one.
Hey, Caleb, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
This is the anime recap for episode 850. I'll be back. Luffy Deadly Departure. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have, once again, we have Ed.
Hello. It's a good day to be One Piece fan.
Yeah, it's a good. We're in a good place with the anime right now, surprisingly.
Yeah, I had a new anime episode to watch and a new chapter for the first time in 2 weeks. So it was a very good One Piece day.
The title card begins at 4 minutes and 28 seconds. We see the fire raging from the Pedro's explosion. Katakuri is worried about Big Brother Pero. And the candy around Chopper and Brook is melting. The candy on the Sunny is melting, and the Sunny breaks free from the shore and is now kind of hitting the water. Nami's trying to hold Carrot back from running to go see if Pedro's okay. You saw the size of that explosion, so things are not looking up for Pedro's survival. No,
but I do appreciate they sort of let the tragedy of it sit in for them. There's this whole dread that goes throughout the entire episode. I think by the end of it is getting a little dragged out, but through the first half of the episode, it was very well paced, especially with material that I don't know if it takes up as much space in the manga as it does here. Although apparently it's all in there except for one bit, which we'll get to.
Yeah. Katakuri is asking why are you people getting so heated? And Carrot is getting emotional, and she attacks, and she's going at it, and that's what transitions us into the flashback where she is training with Shishilian to be a swordswoman, but she's not. She doesn't have the aptitude for it, as Pedro says, and Pedro's just being the cool guy hanging out in a tree with his arms behind his head, smoking a cigarette. Shishilian's like, "Oh, come on! Training should push you to your limits and break you. If you're not good at something, you just gotta keep trying harder." And Pedro's like, "That's a load of bull. There's got to be another way for her to get stronger."
Right, and this wasn't. This was after he came back to Zou after losing his lifespan, right?
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it gives him a different perspective, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like he comes back changed after his experience.
Or does it? Because how long do we know? How long ago Pedro was at?
Oh, I'm bad with dates.
I can't remember. Are you looking at the video right now? Does he have both eyes?
I don't know. I have to scroll around and find it. It looks like he has his one eye covered. So
okay, so who knows? So he takes Carrot under his wings and he gives her gloves. And something that's really bugging me in this episode, I don't know if it's true, if it's been true this whole time. It's not true in the manga, but Carrot's gloves have 4 fingers, but when she's not wearing gloves, she has a regular 5 fingers. So 2 are squished in one spot, basically.
I guess. I mean,
or it's an Assassin's Creed thing where you have to cut one of your fingers off in order to use the.
You just tape them together. I guess it's not that bad. It's very cute. This whole flashback is much more poignant, really, than I remember it being in the manga.
Yeah, I think it's 3 panels in the manga or something.
Mm-hmm. This is the good kind of filler.
Yeah, and I love we get a good sight of Zou at I love anime magic hour,
yes,
sunsets. where
not
just, like,
golden hour.
everything's-
That's just Japanese prime time. But the sunset is
Yes.
beautiful in One Piece
yeah.
and Tampa.
When I just love that like mixture of red and blue, and
Mhm.
that's just another thing that I think is immediately apparent, like right at the beginning of this episode, where the smoke from the explosion is like kind of covering the daylight. And at first, I was wondering if you were already transitioning into night, because this arc goes into nighttime.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is the case. I think it's just the smoke, but it's like so atmospheric and so cool looking.
Well, it's also, I mean, the sun setting, and it's I don't know, it's pretty simple.
I think we're still. I
Death
think
imagery.
it's still noon for them.
Oh, on Whole Cake, you mean? I was
Yeah.
not at the end of.
Yeah, I'm talking about the whole episode is like
Right.
overcast and kind of tragic.
Well, it's also in the flashbacks. It's like the it's very
And
sort
there's
of idealized notion of the past with this setting sun. Very poetic.
Yeah, and they're just kind of having a moment. They're staring at each other, and Paige just kind of going on about his whole, we've all got our turn. One day it will be your turn too, Carrot. And Carrot is listening to him and trying to kind of digest what he's saying. So she's attacking Katakuri, and immediately Katakuri just axe kicks her to the ground. He is just way, way stronger than her. And
Yeah.
Luffy shows up, and he's trying to fight Katakuri too. He's going at it, but Katakuri is still just invincible. But
Then I realized that this is where the Luffy versus Katakuri fight begins.
yeah, basically,
Yeah.
Um,
So this is going
Luffy.
to be one of the hardest fights of Luffy's life here, and it just reminded me watching this in the anime in particular of how much it reminds me of the end of Enies Lobby, where he's fighting Lucci and they have to like find a way to escape, which is I think that's the most direct parallel to this kind of action that we've had in One Piece before.
Yeah,
And it's also
And,
like Luffy's biggest like combat fight, like hand to hand combat fight, which he doesn't get to do very often.
yeah, for sure. Luffy is like blowing his arm up to grab Katakuri entirely. So he can't punch Katakuri, but he can stop Katakuri from messing with his crew. So the crew, Nami and Jinbei, are trying to get the coup de burst ready. On the shore, we see Big Mom getting up, and everyone's afraid of her. And similarly, Amand and her fleet are now starting to attack, launching cannonballs.
Because they think Perospero is dead still.
Yeah, they don't know what's up there yet.
Mhm.
That brings us to the eye catch of the episode. We come back, and Big Mom she's getting up on the back of the Sunny and starting to like munch down. I like seeing the size comparison between the Sunny and Big Mom, and like how Big Mom is basically picking the Sunny up a little bit. Like it's
like that gag of it's like Superman with the car, and he just lifts up the back and they can't get away.
yeah. So the coup de burst isn't working, which means that one of the barrels must have gotten dislodged, and so. With the cannonballs come down, Brook and Chopper are dealing with it. Like Brook is slicing the cannonballs up. It's cool when Chopper grabs one and chucks it back and blows up another one.
Actually, it was funny earlier when I saw them pulling in the shark submerge, and I'm like, man, for not that, but for a gag, it's like, man, it would be kind of hard for them to pull that in. Are they that strong? And then I think Big Mom shows up, and Jinbei is the one who actually pretty much pulls it in, and they all pull in unison, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, and Jinbei is watching these two deal with the cannonballs. He's like, "Oh, let me have a crack at it," but Nami needs him elsewhere. He needs to be at the wheel while she goes and fixes the cola barrels, and she leaves him a tone dial. This is a nice little flourish for the anime where. Frankie has left a tone dial with instructions on how to use the various devices on the Sunny, like the coup de burst. And
so is this like an 8-track tone dial? Because it seems like there's different, like it starts and stops. Like they don't play it all the way through, because otherwise, how would they know how long it took? I don't know.
Well, so Jinbei he hears Frankie's voice and he's just kind of bemused, like what? But okay, I'll go with it. And one of the instructions is that like once this is also another thing that like I don't think is ever brought up in the manga, but like the way you know that the Kuda burst is ready to go is that the lever will like kind of automatically push into place, and that's part of the instruction that Jinbei's following.
Right.
So like once Nami's got the barrel in there, the lever sort of gets pushed back by the tension, and then Jinbei can let it rip. And during this whole thing, like Brule is now poking her head through the mirror, just like
Katakuri doesn't like
shit,
that.
basically.
Yeah. Well, no, she's there to save her brother. Katakuri is like, no, go away.
Carrot and Nami are watching the shore. Somebody's getting up. There's a shape of a person, and they're getting excited. Like, oh, Pedro, is that you? And no, it's not Pedro. It's Perospero, and he's missing an arm now. So Luffy is now grabbed Brule, and he's kind of talking to his crew. Hey guys, just so you know, I will be back. I'm leaving this whole thing to you, and nobody understands what he means. And that's when Jinbei pulls the lever. The ship goes flying off, blows. The burst goes right into Big Mom's face. Amand is having to announce. She's having to relay the information. The enemy ship got away by sky, and everyone's surprised by that. Like, what? The sky?
And Luffy just sort of he takes action where he's like I'll take care of this. I'll be back. It's up to you guys. The rest of this. Yeah. That was they don't really believe what they heard.
Yeah, in the midst of action as the Sunny is now flying away, Luffy and Katakuri have disappeared, and they've disappeared into the mirror world, where they land. And I'm getting pretty excited to see this. Like the Luffy versus Katakuri fight is so you can mess it up. You can do it wrong.
It can go wrong in a very predictable way.
Yeah,
based on
but
how
Luffy,
the anime has been at various points through this arc.
Luffy punches the mirror, shatters it, so that neither of them can get away, and you just know that he assumes he'll find a way. He'll figure it out. He'll beat Katakuri. I like how he's so confident in himself. Like, oh, I can pummel you as much as I want here. And Katakuri is getting up like, you do not know what you are getting into. And that's basically how the episode ends.
There's actually a point right here at the very end where people like to make fun of me for saying that. I think that Luffy and Dragon do have a family resemblance and they do look alike. But like right here in this very last scene where after he breaks the glass, and it's like Dragon is just what Luffy would look like if he scowled all the time. And he got a face tattoo. And
his face was longer, and he had more of a pronounced nose. And
right, but with all the vertical line hashing on it, all the vertical lines on his face, it makes his face look longer. And when you give him that scowl, I think he looks a lot like his father in this scene. But it was very badass.
Like the effect of the shards of mirror, like kind of falling in slow motion.
Mm-hmm. It's a very nice scene.
General thoughts on the episode, Ed?
Strong episode. 2 weeks in a row. There's a point, like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through the episode where Amon was firing. It just was firing cannonballs and like fighting the cannonballs, and it's a fun moment. I'm like, man, this just sort of it's lost momentum a little bit after like the eye catch for me, but it came back by the end of the episode. Just like lost me there for a little bit.
I think the biggest pacing hiccup in this episode is when Luffy is grabbing onto Katakuri, and like he's preparing to like take action immediately, but they spend like half the episode just standing there.
Yeah, that too. That's but other than that, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here. The way they did the flashback to Zoe, that was it was a very good choice of color, I think, and very see that was stretched out, but it didn't feel it felt it didn't feel like too unnecessary. It was emotional.
I adored this episode. Like you said last week, you thought last week's episode was one of the best episodes in years. That's kind of how I felt about this one. I like one of my, like last week's episode, Pedro's big sacrifice. Like it's presented it's presented pretty straight. Like it's this heroic thing that he's sacrificing his life as part of this like destiny and yada yada. But I think such a part of this arc is that there's such a I think it's really muddied the difference between. I think I said this in the last anime recap, but there's like a difference between like self-sacrifice and self-destruction, and I think that this really the emphasis on the dread is really strong, and I think it really supports what I think this arc is going for, which is something a little more off kilter and morbid, and. Yeah, like I think that I love seeing. I mean, this is a very carrot-heavy episode, so that makes me happy. I think that the relationship between Carrot and Pedro is, in general, very strong and interesting. And I think that I love how like the more you try to like sympathize with Pedro and his choice to blow himself up, like the darker the story seems to get.
So that's actually one of the things that would, I guess, make people think that she would stay with the crew afterwards. Because of how close she was to Pedro and what he did, so I think that weighs on the scale.
And the finale where I remember loving this chapter in the manga where it's just like this really exciting moment where, like you could feel the gamble that Luffy's making, where he's taking Katakuri into the mirror world to fight him 1-on-1 with having no real solid plan of getting back or anything. Like that's such a balls of steel moment. And and it makes me really excited for Luffy versus Katakuri. Like it feels like it's going to be slow. You know that it's going to get drawn out. It's going to get repetitive. It's going to do all these things. But like this episode really kind of primed me for that. It made me ready for it in the way it made me ready to feel like I'm watching, Dragon Ball Z or or older episodes of One Piece where it's just like this mano a mano like endless fight.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which definitely. Even though it's not ideal, like there's a vibe there, and I feel like that vibe isn't always here in the anime.
Should be cut together once all the episodes come out into just one long fight.
Yeah, I think that between the color work there has me really excited to see. Like I'm very excited for when the story does transition to night. Like I think that's where you're going to see the most interesting kind of color work in Whole Cake Island. Like because Whole Cake Island already has that like cotton candy sky, where like during the daytime it's like blue and pink, and like we're going to see that go to afternoon to night to full moon to like. I'm so excited to see what they're going to go for there. Like there's just something there's a real point of view to this episode. There's a real vibe and a real feeling to it that I loved.
Right on. Anything else?
I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
All right, let's do it.
This is the Piece Together segment.
What?
Where we take your questions, your comments, and your theories. That's how low my voice could go. I'm sorry. I am Batman.
Batman, you've got a limited range.
Yeah, no one has refuted that. I bet I just made. I bet if Steve was listening, he has just been broken and is lying on the ground, laughing hysterically at that impression. So let's start with Ed.
DSP.
First one comes from Morgul, who said last week you guys asked for feedback on the trivia segment. I just want to say that I love it and don't want you guys to stop doing it. I love trivia games. I DVR Jeopardy every day and love playing along with you guys, so please continue with that segment. Also, there was a mistake in last week's quiz. When you said Robin's mom and aunt were sisters. There is a point in the flashback right after they adopt her where she yells at her husband for saying something along the lines with, "I don't care that she's your sister's kid. How could you take her in?" So basically, Ovia had a brother, not a sister. The mean aunt was not related by blood. A lot of people corrected me on that, so I'm aware.
Well, I think that was a couple of weeks ago, and we had someone on the show who mentioned that. And also, I think I was trying to correct you at the time.
It was Joe's thing, and then I made a leap of logic that was not there. So it's not Joe's fault; it's my fault.
No, actually, Joe wrote in last week to tell, I think, also to correct you.
Everyone could write in to correct me. It's fine.
I was following along with that trivia, and Would I have, if I said Wapol and Mushul, would I have gotten credit?
Oh,
I might have given you a bonus point.
for the effort.
For the effort, yeah, but that's not canon. We stick with canon on our trivia.
I mean, his brother might be canon. The fact that he has a brother, but you never know. Only Oda knows.
Might be canon is not a thing. Let's go to the next question. Xenophan says on the +1 on the trivia comment above, says he also likes it. He has 2 quick questions. First, when do you think Luffy and the Straw Hats will have to face one of the admirals again, and do you think they'll be able to beat any of them? I know you were discussing the Reverie, and I remember in the arc that Kizaru offered to go to Wano, but was turned down by Akainu, so it seems like it won't be in the current arc. So yeah, do you guys...
Hey, but we are missing a pheasant, so...
So you think
we do know
Kizaru's just going to show up here?
No. The former
Aokiji.
Aokiji.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That would be...
Although Kizaru did offer to go to Wano, if you recall, in the Reverie thing.
But the government, the government doesn't want to get involved here. That's a political issue. Aokiji isn't with the government anymore. He's not Aokiji anymore.
I think
but he's with Blackbeard.
If he shows up in this arc, people are just going to lose their minds. Like with the convergence of characters that we have kind of currently going on with Wano.
Oda loves to make people lose their minds. That's like
he
his
does.
favorite thing to do. Morgul has another question. Didn't Oda already use the name Bakura back in Amazon Lily? Between this and Suru, I'm wondering if he's running out of names. We are at chapter 914 of a manga series, so I don't blame him that much. But yeah, do you guys have any thoughts on that?
He was the panther from Amazon Lily.
Yeah.
I think that was Bakuda. This is Bakuda, so it's the difference of a Y Christ. In there. If I'm recalling that correctly. Actually, I think I remember checking just in case to see it, simply because I had it on the mind with like the Hold'em and Speed and all of the card games. I was like, I wonder if it's like Baccarat, but that's not how it's. That would be Baccarat.
Right.
It's fun. It's funny. I look at this and apparently Funimation romanized his name as Bakula.
Scott Bakula. Scott Bakula is a One Piece.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Bakula from Quantum Leap.
I just kept thinking of Bakura, like from Star Wars. It's a planet. I think it's something to do with Princess Leia getting married there to Han Solo, or I don't know. I never read those
extended
books.
Universe, or
the old extended universe before they.
Let's look it up on Wikipedia.
Yeah, the
You
True
see-
Set Bakura is one of the books. I don't think that's where they get married or whatever.
See, that's not canon. That's not even kind of canon. Anyway, that's fun. Abdul said, great chapter today. If it wasn't already talked about, Speed Jiru was the commander of the 14th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Do you think he's the one? He's one of Kaido's headliners now. Side note, he thought Luffy would have had more of a reaction to the Mochi. Looking forward, since he did fight it, looking forward to the podcast.
Speed Jiru?
Speed Jill, right? Or is it
what it
Jiru?
is? He wrote Jiru, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he's Gazelle Man.
the actual the Whitebeard division commanders are the characters who were named in a significant manner that I never remember any of them beyond the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I know any of them is because you get polls on them on the cell phone game. Like you get you get a random character and it's Fosa. Guess who that guy is?
And I always remember new names of characters more because I have to type them into a script every single time they say something. So I retain that information much faster than if you just read it once and then skip over it.
Slight tangent, since we're talking a little bit about Mochi and Katakuri. My friend had been caught up with the anime in One Piece. I'm like, oh, you gotta read the manga. So I showed him Shonen Jump and all that. And he's like, oh, I'm up to the part where it's the fight between Luffy and Katakuri. I'm like, oh, you're gonna be there for a while. That I don't know if that's a spoiler, but
that's actually what started in the anime today.
There
you got pulled into the mirror world, and so
it's gonna last for a couple months. So we have another one from Xenophon, who said, good chapter, interesting if it really is Bellamy on the cover page. Oh, so apparently someone else thought that. It ties into my feeling that the Grand Fleet is going to significantly expand, including Law and other potential other of the several worst generation members who are currently on Wano. As for the chapter specifically, I'm glad that our obligatory princess is a fighter, maybe making up for the disappointing surrounding Rebecca. I use the word princess simply because that's what they often have been in the past, but I wouldn't be surprised if Okiku really is a secret member of the Kozuki clan. Last quick thing that occurred to me recently, back at the end of Dressrosa, when Akainu mentioned Doflamingo's actions being sanctioned by a power higher than the Five Elder Stars, could this have been a reference to Imu? I think that did we mention that? Because it definitely crossed my mind, that last one, and I think it's definitely possible. But he just said higher than Sengoku, and there's a lot of people who are higher than Sengoku.
I was thinking the Five Elders.
Yeah, I was taking that just to mean celestial dragons in general.
It's not clear if Doflamingo. It's not clear that anyone beyond the Five Elders know about Imu, but I guess if anyone would, it would be the Celestial Dragons generally. Who knows? Do you guys have any other thoughts on that?
I would just say that, just on this topic, like if it did turn out that Imu was like a known thing to a whole other class of people, if it was like, oh yeah, that's just Imu, that's the famous so and so, like I would find that to be extremely disappointing, just because that was such a kind of out of nowhere reveal, and we've seen the Five Elders so many times that it just seems like that would be some very late breaking development on Oda's part to try to play off like, oh yeah, this is just like a totally accepted thing among the entire society of the One Piece world. So yeah.
Last one of the Discord questions from Straw Hat Pirate 9, or actually more of a comment. Wano continues to deliver. I have such high hopes for Okiku. Please, Oda, I want a badass swordswoman. We need and deserve this. And also, look who's back again.
There's also the dark side of that idea where she could be an agent, undercover agent for the government. It would explain all the notes and stuff. It's in a different direction. So she cooperates with them for now until, but then again, she's been there for a while, so she's just sort of hanging out in the. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference between a samurai and a ronin. Anyway, is that samurai are employed by the government and ronin are not. Yeah. Anyway, as I said, I want to do a Japanese history podcast that weaves into Wano.
Yes. We all know about Kishi Nobusuke.
Shut up. God damn it. No one cares about Kishi Nobusuke. Okay, let's go to emails. First one's from Martin.
PM's grandfather, he's a war criminal. Come on.
Dear One Piece podcast, what do the tarot cards say about how good the 7th season of the Venture Brothers will be? So here we go.
Far. I've watched the first 2 episodes. So.
We got a reverse 5 of Wands, which means it will be tricky. There will be contradictions, complexity, and a caution against indecision. So that sounds
sounds right.
That sounds just like the Venture Brothers. So not super out of the. Oh my god. Okay, so we got a really long one from Ori, and I'm sorry it's too long, but she also gives some really great big news fan art, which for in case we need for urgency. Maybe we'll read this on a episode where we do not have a manga chapter. So I'm sorry, Ori, that we did not have a chance to do that today. Next one from I think that might be it actually for oh no, we got one more here. Isabel from Colombia says, hey guys and sometimes gals, love your podcast, been listening to it for 3 to 4 years now. She said that she has an observation to make and that she can't recall being made on the podcast before, but please correct her if she's wrong. On episode 151 of the anime in the Jaya arc, Blackbeard has a line of dialogue that goes something like, With that much ambition, I'm surprised his bounty isn't higher. He says this while looking at Luffy's bounty poster after Luffy defeats Bellamy. The thing is, my brother pointed out to me that Blackbeard pronounced ambition as hockey, and after listening in, I could hear that he is right. Do you think that this was the first time ever that anyone mentioned hockey as a power in the series, but it was misinterpreted as its literal translation, ambition? I didn't get a chance to check the manga for this, but I hope Steven has some insight, even if these were not volumes he himself translated. Keep up the good work. Steven?
Yeah, so this is actually one of the kind of, I guess, touch points of hockey debate as to like, okay, what's the earliest mention? He does use the word hockey in, with the same kanji. It's the same word, and that's the thing. So hockey, as we know it in Japanese, as we know it in the story of One Piece, is just a straight up Japanese word. It's just being used to describe like a very specific and otherworldly kind of power that you can have. And, it was not clear until Oda made it explicit that it was, referring to an in-universe thing, whether or not, he was using it just in a kind of a dictionary sense. And so that's one of them. And so, yeah, this has been a debate. I don't think we have an answer or not, whether that is, whether, because you can read it perfectly both ways. You could say, okay, Blackbeard says like, no, this guy was made for bigger things. Like I could sense it from when we met. There's no way his bounty should be this low. Or he could have been saying like, yeah, I sensed the hockey within him, and he's bound for big things. So it kind of works both ways. I don't think we're ever necessarily going to get, unless Oda says it himself when prompted, let's say, because I can't imagine him going back and discussing this line otherwise. But that's it's kind of a double interpretation situation where either one works. I think at the time, both, the official English or the anime or, whatever the case may be, they were all early enough that hockey wasn't a thing in the story by that point. And so, there was obviously no way that we knew, you would never, if you saw this in another series, there was no way that you would just use, oh, hockey. It's of course, hockey, the magical power that, makes people knock out when you use it. No, it's just a regular Japanese word. So, I certainly, you can't blame anyone for translating it as the literal word that it is. So,
I did notice it comes up. I think for the first time, like the word hockey comes up in the volume where Shanks and Whitebeard meet in the English volume. I was reading that one recently. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, where was that? That was like in the 40s, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was right after Enies Lobby, so like 44, 45.
Okay. Yeah. I think that, the English probably, that would have been at a point where the Japanese was far enough ahead that they knew that was this thing in the story.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, last email, big important one here. I hope everyone is well. Have you made predictions for when the Wano arc will end? He predicts chapter 1020. So it has come to that time. It's come to this. We're gonna ask.
I think we were supposed to do that last week.
Shut up. So we're gonna ask each of you, when will the Wano arc end? And the contest will be on our website within the next few weeks. I think we have a lot of time, so I'm not in a super rush to get that up. Where you guys will also compete and we'll have prizes and stuff. I want to get together some good prizes before we actually make this open to the public. But for those on the podcast, the winner will get to host their own podcast with whatever segments and whatever people they want and however much alcohol they choose to consume. And since we have Maddie here, she will get to host the episode, and if she wants, I could draw the image for it.
Wow, that's a good incentive.
Yeah, isn't it? Those stick figures are gonna be great. So let's go around. remember, we do Price is Right rules on this podcast. Come on, guys. So that is the closest without going over. So it is always better to underestimate when you think it's going to happen rather than overestimate unless you want to lose. And who would want to lose a contest? That's preposterous. Ed, you're first.
This is 914 this week?
Yeah, this is chapter 914. Oh, maybe I should take out, and I'll try and put this in the description. I am a nerd. Let me start with this.
You don't say.
So
Hi,
I put
We're all nerds here.
Yeah, but I am a nerd for Excel. And by Excel, I don't mean the Excel saga, the show from the 90s. I mean for Excel spreadsheets. And I put together
Mega's XLR. I'm too late.
Oh yeah, you were too late there. I put together what I call the One Piece data binge, which puts together, which is exactly like what it sounds like. It puts together all sorts of information about the length of story arcs, and kind of generally how that's worked through the series. So if you were curious, the average arc has run 30 chapters. It's run 30 chapters long. The longest arc has run 102 chapters. That's Dressrosa. The shortest arc has run 5 chapters, which is tied with the Return to Shabari, Twin Capes, and Logtown. Some of those you may say, are those really arcs? And I say, shut up.
I don't think that's going to happen with the shortness this time.
Yeah. So you could check those out if you want to see, let me take some data and see if it comes together. But I assure you, Oda is not looking at this and it will have no impact on the results. So Ed, with that in mind, when do you think it's going to end?
Can I ask a quick question?
Maddie, please.
How many chapters are we in so far?
That is a good question. We are 6 chapters. This is our 6th, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead, Ed.
For symmetry's sake, I'll go with 969.
Nice.
Alex.
Oh man. So, what chapter did we do today?
914.
914, and started like around 909, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
It started, yeah.
I'm going to say 981.
981. Steven?
I personally think it could be significantly longer than this, but
Well, it's Price is Right rules, so you always underestimate. It's fine.
Well, look, all right, Zach, you may be a nerd, but I am a man. I am swinging for the fences. I'm going to nail it in one. That's always how I guess, and I'm going to guess 990.
Maddie?
Okay. I'm going to go 1001.
Kelly?
975.
And I don't want to win again. Can I make that clear? I don't want to win again. So I am going to guess correctly. I'm going to guess 1100. Prove me wrong, Oda.
You're playing a dangerous game here, buddy.
Because what if I'm right?
You're going to be like, this is like, that's too close. If you didn't want to win, you could just say 918 or something.
No, 1100 means I'm assuming this is going to be an almost 200 chapter arc.
200 chapters?
Yeah, I said 1100, not 1000.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm really shooting for the. I'm shooting way beyond the fence.
Okay, good. Yeah, fine. Do that.
Okay.
Oh my god, what if it's a 200 chapter arc? Holy balls.
Yeah,
it won't be. It won't be.
It won't be, but if I'm right, that would be bad.
Well, okay, wait. What if like if like it goes back to Reverie in the middle? How do we count?
Okay, so good question. We're gonna count this as we traditionally do. It is the chapter, and Reverie was a little more complicated because there was no moment where everyone was, or the majority of the crew was sailing away on the Thousand Sunny. But that is how we traditionally mark that an arc has completed. So, for example, Whole Cake Island would have ended at the chapter, I think it was 901, where the majority of the crew was on the Thousand Sunny. Pedro doesn't count, he might be dead. Or Peckham's, the two of them. But so in this case, the majority of the crew being on the Thousand Sunny, leaving Wano. Obviously, if there's like a long Reverie arc in the middle of that, we would count the chapter before. So you know what? I'm the host. I can make the judgment call. It's fine. I'm not gonna win, so I'm a pretty neutral party here. All right. I think we're ready to do this. Steven, let's do some Reddit.
All right. We will begin with Gladius Wing Zero, who has a question.
Mr. Anime Wing.
Because of the recent lack of information provided by Funimation about the continuation of the One Piece dub and the rumors that Funimation is no longer dubbing the Fairy Tail anime, is it fair to expect the worst, that the Funimation dub is being discontinued? I personally feel this would be immensely upsetting and disappointing, as the primary way I've shared One Piece with my friends and family is the excellent English dub. Would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on the matter. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we know anything more than the rest of the public.
I put out a tweet to Funimation and have not received a response. So because I've been receiving this concern a lot. So I thought I'd throw it out there.
If we don't hear anything by the end of this calendar year, I mean, it's a fair question to ask. I mean, a lot of people really like the dub, and I mean, granted, the last disc came out back in May, I think we said.
Yeah, but still not that long ago. Yeah.
Right, but they started releasing season 9? Like way back in, I think, early 2017, and those last two sets were sort of released a little while after the other ones were, so. I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, Funimation's undergone how many different changes in ownership over the course of the One Piece dub? Like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and my concern is just that dubs and collecting sets is a waning tradition, just generally. Yeah. That's my concern. I
mean, it's also possible they're working on getting Blu-ray rights for the TV.
That's another.
I mean, that's the option where it does come back, because this is around the time where Blu-rays did start to be released in Japan.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. And I would emphasize, if you were, and I said this back when we weren't sure about season 4, if you are concerned about the anime coming back, please bother the shit out of Toei first and Funimation second. I think Funimation's usually more aware, but make sure Toei's like I would definitely, and their Twitter account has been a lot more active recently compared to what it used to be. So and Facebook, just everywhere, make it known you want the dub. That's how they know that there is a demand for it. And also Funimation, just so they know that, and don't just say it, show that you do support it, that you're going to put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Yeah. Show your collection and say, I need to continue this. Yeah.
Right.
Because I was just looking through my notes from Anime Expo. I think the collection 22 is coming out in September, but I don't think there's been any announcements after that.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it would be a shame if the worst, did come about and they kind of just when they had gotten so much closer over the years to actually catching up. But yeah, I don't know. It is tricky. And I think definitely the point about Blu-rays versus DVDs is, with each passing year is a more pressing question as kind of the media landscape changes and buying habits change.
And most importantly, Toei is a notoriously tough negotiator. So it's, I'm sure that who knows what's going on behind the scenes there. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So we'll continue with ATLA for Life. Who wants to know, do you think that Kaido's crew will have an ace role in the hierarchy? Obviously, with the card theme, we're going to see more characters with those names. But since we already have an ace, I'm wondering if Oda will double dip with the name. was thinking that maybe instead of a character with the title ace, the role could be used thematically, like an ace in the hole. What do you think? Well, who do we have so far? We had, Doflamingo was the Joker, and
the Jack, obviously.
Jack, yeah.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten. Have we gotten anything else?
No, we haven't gotten king or queen or
Yeah.
10.
10.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. He may not be going for like a literal sort of card suit or name of cards. Obviously he's doing the card games thing, but
well, we had the suits already with Doflamingo, who are
Right.
like kind of related to Kaido. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to retread that.
But I could have safely assumed that we're probably going to see a king and a queen.
Could be.
Maybe.
The Sun Skid wants to know, first off, is Okiku Zoro's pudding? That's a weird sentence. Also, do you think she will remain throughout the Wano arc, or is she just playing a minor role here? I get the feeling that she is actually going to be this arc's Vivi. So there you go. There's your princess again.
I could see her playing a major role, but I hope it's different. Then I hope we can't be like, oh, she's this arc's blank. Because
yeah,
that kind of defeats the purpose of a new arc,
It's hard not to do that when, we're 90 volumes in, but
fair.
I agree. Yeah. We do know that he did exclaim, presumably positively on her size. So, that's like Zoro's version of romance. Damn, you're huge. Let's see if there are no other comments. Natachi says, do you think Brook and Chopper will get a power up in Wano? We all are anticipating Zoro's development in this arc, but given how Brook is also a swordsman and a damn good one at that, can we expect him to gain something significant in this arc? Also, Chopper might come across something medicinal in the ancient culture of Wano that makes him a better doctor, or upgrade his Rumble Ball to expand his transformations.
And Zoro always said that he wanted to learn how to cut fire the way Kinemon did. Maybe that has something to do with how they carve the phonoglyphs. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
I'd like to see Brook get a hold of a cursed sword. I wonder if it would do anything with his soul powers, if he could do something different with it.
I mean, creating sorry, this will take a sec. Creating the poneglyphs, just since they're indestructible rocks, makes it how did they do that? Ed's comment kind of just made me Alex,
Yeah.
you here?
I don't know. Brook's a swordsman, but not that kind of swordsman. So I don't know how much it'd fit, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm doubtful about Chopper as well. I mean, it certainly could happen, but I don't know. I guess when you go to a setting and it's here's the old timey fashioned, old school land, it's not really what you would think of as oh, here's where we're going to find pioneering medical techniques. It just doesn't seem to fit, but who knows?
For Brook, I could see him getting in touch with his soul stuff more, like yokai-esque shenanigans.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting. It was that story of the Okiku character is the ghost in the ghost story. Maybe she and Brook have a story. I don't know. I'm just curious about that ghost story that I looked up when I looked up her name.
Grand Reboot says, I am interested in buying this Color Walk compendium. However, I am from South Africa. As a youngster that loves his One Piece but also naive in the ways of the world, I want to know if it's possible to ship these comics here, and if so, how? I'm hoping that you guys can give me the easy way out by not letting poor me figure a way myself. I've never used it myself, but I know that anytime the topic of international shipping comes up, people recommend Book Depository. Apparently their shipping is good, from what I hear. But I don't know. I would assume that Amazon has a South Africa. Aren't they in every country? So I don't know. Maybe they will ship a North American book as well. I'm not sure. Book of Luffy 2 says, with the talk of tarot cards and the link with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, if the One Piece crew or any major One Piece characters were to have a stand from JoJo, which would they have? Also, could Zoro conquer the Anubis sword stand?
Well, too bad Steve's not on this podcast.
Yeah, this is all you guys.
I don't remember which one that is at this point. I watched that anime like 2 or 3 years ago.
Which stand?
Anubis.
Isn't that the one for Abdul, the fire one?
No, that's the.
Oh yeah, it's. I don't remember which is which. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, given Zoro's track record, like, yes, the answer is yes.
Right.
All right. So One Piece characters with JoJo stands in general.
Oh man.
Who would have the world? Maybe we should do it like this. Who's like the Doflamingo would. Doflamingo would.
Yeah, okay.
He thinks he controls everything.
Is there a tarot card for the robot?
You mean Frankie?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, we can move on.
All right. This is a failed experiment. All right, we'll move on. Lame for Fame says, any ideas on the significance of Bellamy, assuming that's him on the cover page, and the fact that he has Luffy's Viva card? What about Shanks? There's his flag among the cloth pieces. Since this is now the second time within a few chapters that someone associated with Luffy has been in Shanks' territory, do you think this is just flavor since the New World is largely controlled by the emperors, or do you expect this to have any importance to the plot? Also, Steven was right. Okiku is huge.
I do think we pointed out that it's a bonus because he may not necessarily be a member of the fleet, which I thought that was interesting. But maybe he's. I don't know. I'm still curious about the windmills. Like, it's Luffy's hometown is Windmill Village. Maybe that's something that Shanks brought to his other territories, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was the village of dyed goods, right? So, is that a thing? Like, are traditionally windmills associated with dyeing in any way? Not that I'm aware of, but
Not that I know of.
Yeah. All right. Well, Menzel STH wants to know, is Rurouni Kenshin going to return to the Viz publication of Weekly Shonen Jump? Because I really don't want to support its creator every time I support the creators of my favorite manga. Even if it's the tiniest amount of money altogether, it's too much. I mean, I don't think Viz has announced anything about bringing back that Hokkaido series or whatever it was.
Did Jump in Japan bring it back?
I believe Shueisha has moved. I believe they have. They've concluded their investigation or whatever, however you want to euphemize it, and it seems like they will continue doing stuff with him, I believe.
Oh, that's too bad.
But yeah, I have not heard anything from that about Viz, and although again I don't know what they're thinking, maybe I'm not an employee of Viz. I guess personally I would be surprised if they did bring it back.
Yeah.
I don't think that flies here as much as it might with Shueisha in Japan.
Well, I mean,
the Toriko creator. Yeah.
Toriko got published in America, so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people see a substantive difference between what he did and what Watsky did, but not really sure why. But the element of time, yeah.
Yeah, there's also the fact that Toriko was after his rehabilitation.
Right.
He had had a previous series, and Toriko in English was essentially his introduction to the English-speaking audience. So it was more like, oh, did you know that in the past this happened to? This is like right. News articles. Everyone is like, oh yeah, the Rurouni Kenshin author Watsuki, he fucked up, and
it's a different order of magnitude too. I mean,
right. Yeah.
I mean,
CJ to Elf says, now that we have Batman, Robin, and Joker in One Piece, when are we going to get Oda's version of Batman Forever, and what other famous characters will join?
Two-Face, obviously.
We have Penguin.
That's true. Penguin's there already.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What about the Riddler?
Hawkins. That's Hawkins.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah, if maybe he'll riddle someone this at some
Wait, was that also the one with the Bat Mastercard?
That's Batman and Robin.
Okay.
Never mind.
I hate that movie.
Yeah,
I've never
what's,
seen that one.
It's like not even bad funny. It's just like complete garbage.
Ed, are you the one who owns the soundtrack to that I know?
Batman and Robin? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a really good Smashing Pumpkins song on that.
You know, Billy
Which
Corgan
they
is a
used
nut
in
job
the
now.
Watchmen trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who's okay? So Batman Forever. That's Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, right?
Oh God. Are
We already
talking
have-
about
No,
this?
no. It's Two-Face and Riddler is Batman Forever.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze is in definitely Batman.
Yeah,
and
you're
Robin.
talking about Batman and
Okay.
Robin. Yeah, that's the
Wow.
worst one of the two.
Yeah. I could have sworn. Okay. I saw
Batman
Batman
Forever is
Forever.
pretty bad though.
I saw Batman Forever in the theater, but I don't.
It's
I
got
guess
Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
Yeah.
Can we move on?
Chris O'Donnell, of all people, as Robin.
Prince of Assassins says, first I'd like to thank Steven for not shying away from the Batman translation and going with something like Man-Bat. I think I saw that comment elsewhere too. I didn't realize that was a thing that people were expecting. With how many gifters there will be in Wano, are there any particular animal-based men you are looking forward to?
Pandaman.
Yeah, I mean that.
Has to be.
Pandaman and Red Pandaman.
Do you know what I'm really looking forward to?
Red Panda Man.
Lesser Panda Man.
Yeah, no, mammalian fish men. So like a whale man or a dolphin man, but it's like the head of the fish and just the
I don't
lower
know.
torso of the body.
We've already got human Jimbei in this arc. Like this is getting too confusing.
We don't need another Dr. Dugong situation on our
I
hands.
do want a Dr. Dugong.
Wheelchair and all.
Yeah, everything. What's next?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I guess you could.
Dr. Kung Fu Dugong.
There you go. Oh my God, that's amazing. That sounds both adorable and terrifying simultaneously. I'm imagining like a Kung Fu Dugong's face, like that cute face on like a super muscly body,
Yeah, I don't want that.
like a Kinnikuman kind of thing. Almost.
I would love for Oda to have a gag, like not even as a like an individual character, but just like, okay, let's say he's giving orders, because we know there's 30 of these things, so we're not going to see all of them, obviously, in this particular location. Like I would love to see him see Hold'em giving orders, like, okay, Batman, Gazelle Man, Panda Man, etc., and just at the very end have him say Man, and like you never see him, but
Yes.
it's just like the joke being
It's just some
one
guy. It's just a
He
guy.
got the human smile fruit.
I love it. It's just like, what was it? Mitch. Remember in Dressrosa, we just named a random guy Mitch. There's just some random guy. Hey, man, Mitch, get over here.
Yeah.
Just, can you clean the floors?
Yeah.
He's the moon of gifters.
The last question on Reddit, or comment, I should say, is from Quick Password, who says, I knew it was a long shot, but I would have died if the conversation about Kiku's size went like this. Zoro, you're a big lady, and Luffy, for you.
Oh.
For you.
So, there you go.
He kind of did imply that. Anyway, Ed, it's time too.
Peace the treasure.
Go ahead. Do I need to explain it? It's been 533 episodes. Ed, what do we have on Twitter?
Didn't hear me coughing? Good. Mute worked. All right. First question comes from Operation Druid, who says, if the Straw Hats participated on a Nickelodeon game show from the 90s, what game would they play and who would come out victorious?
Double Dare.
I don't know. I feel like... Nami and Robin would kick ass at Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh, yeah. They
Definitely.
were. Or what was it?
Yeah.
Figure It Out?
Can't you imagine Zoro trying to figure out like the final obstacle, like the final maze? Get lost in the Hidden Temple.
Or Guts?
I think they would do real good at like Wild and Crazy Kids, because wasn't that like basically just like playing tug of war, like tug of rope? Or
That's
something
before
like that?
my
Like,
time. I don't
they would just
remember that.
completely destroy a bunch of kids.
Yeah, and Omar Gooding would be the host because he was.
What's the next question, Ed?
Next one comes from Captain Black here, who says, "You guys are probably getting a lot of questions from the latest chapter. All I want to say is who the real identity of Emu is. They're actually the Dark Knight, a.k.a. Bart Simpson."
I guess Emu might actually be Batman. No.
I don't know. This Batman is more like the Dork Knight.
Whoa.
Whoa. God.
Thank you.
Next one comes from Sniper of My Heart, who says, "For the tarot card readings, can I get a reading on how Jinbei is doing now? Is he okay?"
Okay. Let's do it.
Is he okay?
Is he okay? We got a backward 7 of cups. That doesn't look good. As if I know what that means. Let's see. A 7 of cups reverse is, he has strong willpower and a goal of his has nearly been attained.
Hey, all right.
He's an intelligent choice, and he is resolved. So it seems like he's doing what he needs to do. Yeah.
I was gonna say like 7 of Cups reverse sounds like a really bad street game.
Oh,
you find the P, but there's 7 cups instead of 3. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Next one comes from Return to Sabaody, who says, "Luffy keeps the stick from the dongo in his mouth for the whole chapter. You think it'll have it in there for the whole arc?" He includes 4 pictures of it.
I hope so. I love the dongle.
The dongo.
It's a good
No,
look.
it's a skewer from the dango, the dumplings.
I assumed you meant like
the dango.
No,
the dango eat your baby. Oh, that actually happened.
It's sad that the child actually was eaten by
Oh yeah, didn't they just have an article about that or something? They proved it finally.
So yeah. Anyway,
Did the dongo eat your baby?
The dongo. The baby. Oh, the baby ate the dongo. Oh god.
Okay.
Oh, we're having fun here.
Next one comes from Yin Tabaf, who says, "In the most recent episode of the anime, dials were reintroduced in the form of the tone dial, so it made me wonder if the manga may reintroduce them when Uruj ever comes back to the story, because he was up on the Sky Island recently."
What?
But I mean, tone dials are sold as a commercial form of entertainment.
Oh yeah.
No, from Brooke.
TDs.
So,
they're TDs. Not
yeah,
CDs.
TD.
Yeah.
His TD sales are off the charts.
Yeah.
CD's nuts.
Yeah.
We have Alex here for class.
Now,
Go ahead.
okay, next one comes from Dark Leviathan, who says, "I think we have to redo the Reverie contest.
Nope.
For when will it end? When will it come back?"
Oh, that's maybe in the future. I don't know.
His guess is 1088.
When will it come back? That's a
Very long time
go
from
that's a
now.
very long
back.
time from now. What's next?
Next one comes from Nura G123, who says, "Hey OPP, if you were to introduce a friend to One Piece, what scene would you show him? I was introduced to the show by my cousin 10 years ago when he showed me the Zoro versus 100 bounty hunters fight."
Ed, this is how you introduced me, so you could answer this question.
But yeah, it was the crocodile fight, the third crocodile fight.
Yeah, at the very end.
It's always, I always forget if it was that or the chopper flashback.
No.
'Cause I know the music.
I'm glad you didn't show me that one first. Yeah.
I guess showing the main character of the show
beating a bad guy is not a
bad
huge
guy.
spoiler.
It's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
In this show, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one comes.
I feel like
Stephen.
I feel like showing off like a good either action or comedy scene probably works best. I know that when you think about it as a long-term fan, when you think about it, you think of all the the sad flashback things, but that's not really a great selling point to get someone who's not already invested. Like, okay, so there's a character and they're crying a lot. Like, okay, I guess that's sad.
Actually, a good one to show would be the entire episode of Zoro versus Mr. One. It's the only thing that happens in that episode. I rewatched it recently.
Or the Ace versus Blackbeard fight.
Yes.
That's
the one I used to get someone into it was the scene when they come back from Skypiea with the octopus in his pants. It worked.
There you go. What's next?
Even the baby back fight would be interesting.
I showed somebody Strong World.
Yeah, there
That
you
too.
go.
And
Yeah,
that worked.
That's good.
That's what the movies are there for, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, not really movie 6. I mean, that's kind of a separate. I don't know if you really get a good feel for One Piece.
It's good. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie, but
Yeah.
it's very different.
What's next?
Okay. Next one comes from our very own Dark King Zoro. Mr. Brian Newton says he wishes he was here, but it looks like we'll finally get the Lion Fruit and Master Hold'em. So hopefully there is a Tiger Fruit user in Kaido's crew. Also, Okobore is very similar to the Gray Terminal. Luffy Taro might make that connection. And finally, he continues. It seems Oda might be setting up that when Lord Odin sailed with Roger, that might have helped the Shogun Orochi take control of Kuri and topple the Kozuki. But none of that matters now. Batman! Not since Hilden. No, Batman. Hashtag Batman.
thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
And he put a gif of the Batman.
Yeah, I can't stop watching it. Go ahead. Is there more, or is there anything to say there?
I mean, there was a question there.
Was there?
But I was curious.
Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, there is a tiger fruit. Hopefully, there's a tiger.
Oh,
fruit user.
yeah, I agree. Tigers and lions have similar muzzles. I guess they do.
I'm forgetting now too. When he mentioned Oden and sailing with Roger, did we get a chronological ordering of that? So whether or not he was actually the Lord, like was he just abandoning the country at that point, or
I doubt he was abandoning it. I mean, we're gonna find out in this arc,
right?
I think,
right.
Hopefully, but yeah, we'll see. Go ahead.
Yeah. Next one comes from Nick Fridge.
You're gonna have to skip that one until Caleb comes back on because it's for him. So.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was just a general question about translation or not, but yeah, we'll have to ask it the next time Caleb.
Yeah, we should save that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Next one comes from Ghost Starch, who says, "I think Kanakuri and Cracker were demoted like Snack was. You may see the new generals when Big Mom shows up. My guess is that Compote, Smoothie, and Dive. How can you say that about Compote being a new Sweet 3? She didn't do anything. We have no idea what her powers are."
Whoa! Take it easy, Ed.
I get annoyed that she didn't.
Do you know what I hope it's
give her anything to do in the arc.
I hope it's the 3 Smoothie sisters. Was it Cinnamon, Smoothie, and
Citron?
I just hope it's those 3.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Smoothie took over. I guess why not the 4 again? It was the Sweet 4. Why not bring it back to all 4? I don't know.
It could be sweet however many she wants.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Next one comes from Memory Zach, who says, "I don't know if people have brought this up, but Hawkins' prediction of 19% chance of survival at the month's end could be because Luffy is holding Kitetsu, and actually his chances are a lot higher. Maybe it was supposed to be 91%, not 19%, but he was holding the sword."
The sword is like a it makes tarot readers dyslexic.
Or maybe it actually lowers his luck, like just holding onto it.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
All right. Next one comes from Dark Leviathan, who says, "You think the 10 guy is waiting for Okiko? He did say he was waiting for somebody. Also, I guess Tashigi isn't going to show in Wano, and Zoro's
wielding women
problems will come back. Well, there's still the whole Vegapunk thing, where isn't Tashigi and Smokers slowly sailing towards Vegapunk?
No, I think they already did that. I think they're back from that already.
You're sure?
No, I'm not. I have no idea. But that was a while ago chronologically. I mean, that was right after Punk Hazard, so several weeks ago at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what they're doing?
Yeah, exactly. We don't really know.
You want to finish this off? Yeah.
Yeah. Next one, last one comes from QuipQuest, who says, "With Kaido on the horizon, I was thinking of Moria again. Can you think of any reason why King Emu?
I think Emu.
Oh, okay. Would want to eliminate Moria of all people? I mean, it's Moria. What could he have possibly known to get this kind of shabby treatment?" Well, he knows about Oars, the continent puller.
I still don't think it was Emu specifically, but who knows? It's Moria. All right, we'll find out eventually, and then we'll have to hear him laugh. All right. Any other thoughts? All right.
Nope.
That'll do it for Piece Together. That's round off.
All right, and tribute.
This has been episode 533 of the One Piece podcast for August 20th, 2018. We're back next week with our manga recap for chapter 915, and an anime recap, and we also have our read-through of Enies Lobby this Friday. Please support us on Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece podcast if you have not. Lots of outtakes, exclusives, and our entire archive and a lot more, all at One Piece, patreon.com/One Piece podcast. Let's go around the horn where people could contact us. Maddie, our resident artist, where could people find you?
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Oh That's Raspberry, and you can find me at Patreon at Oh That's Raspberry, where for $5 a month you get a postcard every month in the mail.
Awesome. And you just hit a goal, so you have like bonus.
I did.
postcard.
I just hit 50.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, support Maddie. And who else? We had Caleb. Please follow him. I think it was CD cubed.
CD cubed.
Yeah, I did that
on
off
Twitter.
the top of my head, so that was not terrible.
And that's all spelled out with letters. That's not like CD3 or anything like that.
3. Yeah, you're right. 3. Anyway,
Zach's invented the fourth dimension here.
you know it. Kelly, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Karuri.
Steven.
And I can be found on Twitter at Translatosaurus.
Alex.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at dude ! All one word. And whoa, I'm going to be at some cons. I'm going to Forest City Comic Con in beautiful London, Ontario.
Whoa.
Next month. Yeah, the weekend of September 22nd.
More traveling.
Isn't Small Press Expo also coming up?
Yes, I'm not exhibiting, but I'll be around. Joey will be exhibiting. That's the I believe the weekend of September 10th. Is that a weekend? I don't know.
That would be, I think, the 7th and 8th, maybe?
No. The 15th and the 16th is Small
go.
Press Expo. I will be there walking around and also hanging out with Joey. So if you see us there, say hello. If you're Canadian, or if for whatever reason you're going to Forest City Comic Con in London, Ontario, come check me out. I'm doing Super Art Fight there, as well as signing and drawing some sketchies and stuff like that. And if you're going to be in the DC area for Anime USA in October 19th, 21st, at the Marriott in Washington, D.C. near the zoo, I will also be there with Super Art Fight. So come visit, say hello. That's it.
Ed.
All right. You are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. One Piece. The podcast is at OnePiecePodcast.com, Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/One Piece Podcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. As we said earlier, please support us at Patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. Our subreddit is r/One Piece Podcast. You can leave us some piece together there. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And our phone number is 347-497-MAGI. That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime. Call us with your questions, your comments, your theories, and your reasons why Batman with a hyphen is better than Batman without a hyphen. So we're going to do a quick round of trivia for those who don't know. We are going to name characters in a category. If you name the same one or you can't think of one within the allotted amount of time, you are out. This week we're going to do, this one's a pretty easy one, so let's see. And by easy, I mean specific. We talked a little bit about the Kozuki clan this week, so we're going to be talking about chapter 818. It's called Inside the Whale. Please name all the characters that are either mentioned or appear in that chapter. Okay, got it? That's all you got to do.
Okay.
Order is going to be Kelly, Steven, Maddie, you're not playing, I'm guessing. Kelly, Steven, Alex, and Ed. Here we go. Kelly, go ahead.
Cat Viper.
Steven.
Dogstorm.
Alex.
Raizo.
Ed.
Conjuro.
Kelly.
Momonosuke.
Steven.
Luffy.
Alex.
Robin.
Ed.
Odin.
Alex.
Zorro.
I'm sorry, Kelly was the one who was supposed to, but you're ahead of the game, I guess. Kelly.
Nami.
Steven.
The Shogun.
Sure. Yeah. I'll count that. Alex already got his, so Ed.
Kaido.
Kelly.
Wanda.
Nope. Kelly, you're out. Sorry.
Ooh.
Steven.
Sicilian?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay. Alex, stay in the game.
Usopp.
Ed.
Chopper.
Alex.
Frankie.
Ed.
Oh. Big Mom.
Yep. Alex.
Gold Roger.
I don't have him here. I don't think he was mentioned here. Ed, to stay in the game.
Oh.
Or to win. I'm sorry.
Let's see here. Carrot?
No.
Oh, wow.
Tiebreaker.
Okay.
Can anyone, Alex, you get first dibs. Name a character on the decks of the world for that chapter.
For that chapter?
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's just one character, right?
Yeah, just name a character.
From the decks of the world in that particular
in chapter.
chapter.
818.
Okay. Rebecca.
Nope. Ed?
Cavendish?
No, I'll give you a second. Try one more time. Alex.
Like, what the fuck?
Okay, I'll give it's the one where they're reading the newspaper seeing that Luffy got the 500 million berry bounty. Alex, you could try it again.
Okay.
It's not the one with the Grand Fleet.
Okay.
All right. Is it Kaya?
Nope. Ed?
Nefertari Cobra?
Nope.
Oh boy, this is gonna be
Okay,
ridiculous.
you guys did not name one of the Straw Hats. Name the Straw Hat that you did not name. Alex.
Luffy?
No,
Nami.
Alex gets to guess first. No, you both are wrong.
What? Fuck you.
Okay.
Sanji.
Ed?
Fuck you.
No, you have to just name the character.
Zorro.
Alex?
I said Zero earlier. Rook.
Yeah, Alex wins. You also forgot Law, and that was it.
Whatever.
The decks
You
of the
know
world.
what? You know what? It's okay to forget Law. Law's forgettable.
The decks of the world were Dragon, Sabo, and Koala. So that's gonna do it.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Hey, Zach, that
Yes.
one is impossible.
You get it,
Yeah.
Alex, you won Taiyaki this week.
God, finally, give me that good fish shit.
All right, guys. We'll see you next
Cookie.
week. We'll see you next week, everyone. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Alex.
Goodbye, everyone.
I said, give me
Getting-
that fish cookie. I want that fish
Getting-
cookie.
I
Getting
said
very
actually.
dangerously close to name a day ending in Y territory there.
No,
Tango eat your baby. Oh, that actually happened.